The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
I'm live in Vegas, and of course, the New York Jets have made a trade today, and there could be more trades on the way. We'll talk about the latest with Dylan Tereman, plus training camp, at least the practice is open for fans and media. They wrapped up earlier today. We'll break it all down and more. It's the Jake Asman Show, live from Circa. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, AG's first training camp with the New York Jets is underway. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quentin Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let me get the elephant out of the room. Let's acknowledge it, right? My tongue's red. Sue me. I was down by the pool before today's show, so we've had a couple beverages. My tongue might be red, but the show must go on. And ladies and gentlemen, to help me do today's show, DT, Dylan Tereman, joins us now. What's up, Dylan? Thanks for being flexible. Starting a little later than normal here on a Wednesday, but it's a Wednesday. Dylan's on. The Jets are making trades. A lot happening. What's up, man?
Hell yeah, dude. This is awesome. Vegas Jake with a red tongue. He's shades of Andrew C. pre-gaming before the show. So I love this. What's up, chat? Everybody in the chat, including the weirdo that's Dylan T in the chat. What's up, everybody? It's awesome to be back. Wednesdays are always fun, Jake. I'm always flexible. You know me. I'm the most flexible guest on this show. I'm also probably the youngest guest that you have on here, so that bodes well for me. But happy to be here, man.
I love it. Well, everyone go subscribe to Dylan, help him get to 1,000 subscribers. He's certainly well on his way. So a lot to talk about here. Let's start with the trade that actually did happen, and then we'll get into the reports that are out there that the Jets are calling about acquiring a wide receiver. But an actual trade happened today. The Jets and the Browns made a deal. Dylan, what do you know about Jawan Briggs, who they acquired from Cleveland? The details of the trade essentially read like the Jets traded their 6th-round pick, got a player, and got back a 7th-round pick for said player here. So let's start with the details of the trade, and then I know you have a breakdown for us. What can you share about what Briggs could bring to this team?
Yeah, it's a late-round swap pick. So what it says to me is the Browns were probably looking to cut him from their defensive line room. The Jets saw a need. I think, to me, he's going to make the team. Obviously, they're not giving up a conditional pick. It's a true 6th-round pick this upcoming draft in 2026. So he's going to make the team, right? It's just a matter of who does he make the team over. Is it Fedarian Mathis? Is it Derek Nottie, who has really just been, lackluster, to say the best in preseason? He really hasn't shown anything to me so far through 2 games. So to me, you're just adding a body that is most likely going to make your 53, and he gives you an element of some run defense, right? I feel like it's no secret. The run defense on the defensive line has been the issue all of summer, all of spring, going all the way back to free agency, right? I'm sure we were talking about adding defensive tackle guys all the way back in February or March. They didn't do that. And, a lot of the fans don't like it, but here they're trying to rectify the situation as best they can. There's some really good clips being circulated on Twitter. He eats a double team. I think it's against the Eagles. They double team him at the point of attack. He eats through it and gets the stop in the run game. There's a couple other clips where he's beating a man one-on-one in the run game. So to me, I think it's more of we're adding run stop ability to the back end of our defensive interior. And that's okay with me, right? We've talked about it, even as early as last week. We didn't like what we saw against the Giants, right? That pass rush was putrid, even through the center of the defensive line, where I thought that was their strength. They couldn't get any push either. So you bring in Jawan Briggs, and hopefully he gives you more run stuff than pass rush ability, but he's just a different skill set than what I think the rest of these guys have. Quinnen is a pass rusher first. Coer is probably a run guy, but mostly pass first, I would say. Tufele, he's like all pass rush. So Leonard Taylor, all pass rush. So let's get a guy who's in here who can do some run defense, and maybe Briggs actually brings us something that we didn't expect from this defensive line.
Let's see if they can coach someone up, right? Someone that they added and they think maybe has some talent and maybe was, not a scheme fit in Cleveland. Maybe he's a better scheme fit for the Jets. He was teammates for a year at Cincinnati, by the way, with Sauce Gardner. So there is some familiarity with those two players. 7th round pick a couple of years ago. So the Jets, Dylan, they didn't tap into the DT class in this, not to say Dylan Tereman class, but the defensive tackle class in this most recent draft. And if I had a criticism from the draft, it's that you had a record amount of interior offensive linemen or defensive linemen, that were picked, especially DTs, and the Jets didn't take any of them. So this guy wasn't a part of that draft class, but he's a young player. He's going into his second year in the league. So I like the move. You didn't give up a ton, and obviously he's better than what they currently have, and that it's still, to me, a big concern, but at least they're trying to address it proactively before week 1.
Yeah, I would say a 6th round pick in a future draft is like 1 round lower in the current draft. So if it's a 6th round pick for next year, I look at that as the value of maybe a 7th round pick this past draft. So instead of taking a 7th round defensive tackle just to say they took a defensive tackle and make the fans happy, they go out, they make a trade for a guy that they actually might believe in. And like you said, they feel like they have the ability to coach up. I think that's the emphasis for a lot of these retainment players, signed players, traded for players now. It's a big emphasis on this coaching staff believing that they can do what they say they're going to do and coach these guys up and be actual, participators in this defense or offense. So it really does come down to coaching. Obviously, I feel like that's the biggest caveat of this entire season. But a guy like Briggs over a 7th round defensive tackle this past year, okay, fine. I'll take his 133 reps last year in the Cleveland Browns in an NFL setting, and I'll take that over a rookie 7th rounder who's going to have some lumps. Because if we took a 7th round defensive tackle, Jake, or even a 5th or 6th round defensive tackle instead of Maui Goa or Tyler Barron, the expectations are way up here for that player, right? Just because of the need that the fans put on this team. Aside from Quinnen Williams, we don't have anybody in the room. Now that 7th round pick has to perform way better than expectations, whereas this guy, Briggs, he comes in on a trade, and if you see a little bit of flashes out of him, I feel like that's enough to justify a future 6th round pick, getting a 7th round pick back.
Dylan Tereman is with us. Jake Asman with you. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And folks, here's what we're playing for in next week's Asmaniac Raffle. A signed Broadway Joe Namath jersey. A signed Kevin Mawai Hall of Fame signature jersey. A signed photo of Joe Klecko, Marty Lyons, and the New York Sack Exchange. 16 by 20. So this is a big photo. If you win, gift the membership to enter. And since I'm in Vegas, let's do an awesome giveaway at the end of the stream. Your chance to win, dealer's choice, in honor of being at the home of blackjack. Dealer's choice. You choose the jersey you want if you win at the end of the show. Fields, Garrett Wilson, Sauce, Jermaine, you pick. And if you win, we'll send you the jersey. Dylan, you won a Sauce jersey on a recent show. How's that jersey fit, my man?
It fits great. I love it. I told you, I think off air, I'm going to week 1 against Pittsburgh, and then week 3 I'll be at the Tampa meetup with all you guys. So I'm not sure which event I'm going to wear it to. And then it's going in a shadow box next to the signed Fields jersey up behind me on the wall. I think it's too clean because I got the white sauce. I feel like it's so clean. I'm going to get like ketchup or, some kind of beverage on it at a tailgate, and I'm just going to be really pissed off about it. So I'll wear it to one of the 2 games, week 1 or 3, and then it's going on the wall. But it fits great, and I'm so happy I have it.
So those are the options for you people. Gift away. We already have some memberships, and let's be as transparent as possible. Memberships are going to the steak dinner tonight, the blackjack, the craps, the roulette, all of it, all weekend long, the sportsbook betting. So if you want to fund my gambling experience, I'm going to be fully transparent. That's where your channel memberships and super chats are going.
Your super chat has to come with a red or black and a number following it. If you go green 0 or green 00, it's automatic to the hole. So we go black or red with a number attached to all these super chats in honor of Vegas.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky NY gifted a membership. He says, paying my tab from yesterday. Thanks, Jake. Ricky, you're awesome. Steven says, LFG. Steven, thanks for watching the show. The Human Fun gifted a channel membership. He joins our Asmaniac raffle for one. He's in for one. And Eli Betts, how about a 5-spot of channel memberships? Hey now. Thank you very much, Eli.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
If you got a channel membership from Eli, make sure you thank him. We're live at Circa Las Vegas. Contest weekend starts tomorrow, so be on the lookout for a bunch of bonus shows and live streams throughout the weekend featuring some big-time names and featuring a lot of fun over the next couple of days on the channel. And, of course, we'll talk about the latest with the Jets. We already had one trade Dylan and I just broke down. How about a significant report this morning? This, of course, happened when I was flying. So I was just waiting for the move to happen because that's typically what happens when I travel. There's always big breaking Jets news for anyone who's been around the channel a while. You know, there's a long history of that. This is from Diana Rossini. She was the first to have it. She tweeted this morning, Jets are among several teams monitoring the trade market for potential wide receiver additions. The 49ers and Vikings are also making calls. When you first saw this, Dylan, did you have a player in mind that you thought, maybe this is the player the Jets are inquiring about?
Yeah, I certainly have my own personal choice as who I thought this was about. But to me, this is like such a due diligence tweet, right? Like Diana says, among several teams. Jake, let's be honest. There's probably about 27, 28, 29 teams in the NFL that would love to upgrade their wide receiver position. Outside of like the Cincinnati Bengals, you don't really have a ton of stacked rooms. The Minnesota Vikings, they're stacked, but they're looking for wide receivers. So it might just be a lot of due diligence, but my brain immediately went to Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers. I'm looking at a room that has way too much depth in it. They just added Matthew Golden and Savion Williams in the first and third round of this past draft. So is there a way that, somebody slips free in that room and kind of like Briggs, they're not going to cut Romeo Doubs, but they're going to have to do gymnastics at that position? I look at it, instead of trading a pick for Romeo Doubs, why not trade one of our great DBs, right? We're so deep at corner, and maybe, they like a safety that we might not necessarily like as fans, but there's always a chance that the Packers might like a safety, one of the Clarks, potentially Jarius Monroe. My brain says JBC for Romeo Doubs. Who says no? If you look at the Packers depth chart right now at cornerback, Nate Hobbs was their big free agent signing. They let Jair Alexander walk in free agency. He's now with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm looking at JBC as like, okay, this is a perfect fit potentially for the need at their cornerback spot. So that's where my brain went immediately. I'm not going to give up Quantez Stiggers. One, I think he's better than JBC. And two, I respect my friendship with Nate. So I'm not going to give up Quantez. But JBC for sure is somebody that, like, he didn't make my initial 53-man roster, but potentially he could make it over a guy like Jarius Monroe. But they put Monroe at boundary corner both games, Packers and Giants, to end the game. He's at boundary corner. So maybe they think a little bit more of a guy like that instead of JBC that makes him expendable. So that's where my brain went. JBC for Romeo Doubs.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, they will cut the line. I want to bring up a name that I saw, I think, Buffalo Jet fan speculate on first. And that name is a player in Indy who also actually has some connections to Sauce Gardner, Alec Pierce. It feels like he could be expendable. I don't know what it would cost to necessarily get him. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. But for a guy who has never had a ton of catches, Dylan, he makes the most of his catches. Like he led the NFL in yards per reception with like 22 yards per reception last year. So you look at his numbers, they're not like, oh my God, but he's like a perfect complement for what they need in an offense where you're not going to be throwing the ball a ton to your number 2 wide receiver anyway, but they do need to upgrade because right now you have Garrett Wilson. And then after that, I guess at best, Reynolds is maybe a 3 on some teams, maybe if you have a really good tight end, but he's not a 2. So that was the name I thought of. I just don't know how legit any, reports are that he could be moved. So I like your suggestion of Doubs. I thought of Pierce. Do you buy an Alec Pierce trade potentially?
Yeah, he's like the 1B, right? Dobbs is my 1A. I think stylistically, I like him a little bit better. He's short to intermediate. He wins with separation. I feel like he would complement Garrett well, but he would also do well for Justin Fields too. Whereas Alec Pierce, to me, I'm not going to say he's like Arian Smith, but he's more of that deep threat guy, right? I feel like he has more of a contested catch ability than a guy like Romeo Dobbs. But I don't know if I love just having another deep threat guy. You said he's got like the most yards per reception, yards per target, I think, too, even. So we saw what happened when Indy played us last year, and Anthony Richardson was just bombing it to him over our heads. That's all well and good. I just don't know if stylistically it fits for our offense. But if you said they trade DB or a late round pick swap and get a Dobbs or an Alec Pierce, 100%, he's probably your wide receiver 2 in talent and production right away. You can knock Josh Reynolds down to wide receiver 3. You can knock Tyler Johnson down to wide receiver 4. So your depth chart definitely looks a lot better on paper. The thing with Dobbs would be the concussions. That's the biggest concern. I know Buffalo Jet fan was concerned about his suspension for team or conduct detrimental to team. If you look into it, it's a lot more than just what the team has put out about Romeo Dobbs, and he wasn't dissatisfied with his role. It was a lot more to do with those different things that we can't see off the field. But I would say the concussions with Romeo Dobbs is the concern. Alec Pierce doesn't have an injury history. He does need a new contract, but I think Dobbs would too. So it's not a one-year rental with either of these players. It's most likely we're trading an asset and then going to give them a medium to long-term extension on top of it so that they're part of the plan for the next 2 to 4 years.
Boy Green's in the house. He says make a splash trade for Jamison Williams. AG has been talking about him all offseason. Perfect compliment for Garrett Wilson. Look, I would love that, BG. I just don't know if, one, the Lions would trade him, and two, if the Jets would want to spend that type of capital. I'd imagine they'd ask for a first-round pick. I don't know if it would ultimately cost that. Look, I'm willing to trade for a legit number 2. I just think when we start talking about guys like Jamison Williams, and I think, of course, everyone's going to talk about Terry McLaurin, I think those contracts you have to give them, and potentially the capital as well, is going to make the Jets back off and not even try. I think they want to upgrade the room, but I don't think they want to invest a ton of premium picks and a big contract to make it happen.
Yeah, and to Paul's point, shout out Boy Green, I would welcome this trade for Jamison Williams. Of course, whatever the price is, honestly, I'd probably pay it if I'm Darren Muji, I would probably pay the price for Jamison Williams. But you have to then go into the price of the extension, right? How much is Jamison Williams going to cost you on the cap? If I'm looking at it from the just dollars and cents perspectives, I'd rather save the money, hope one of our guards, Simpson or AVT, is good this season in the beginning portion. You give them a mid-season extension, and then you try to extend the other guard in before free agency, right? I would rather spend $25 million between 2 guards, 12 and a half a piece, right? Than go out and trade big assets and then a big extension to a wide receiver. Romeo Dobbs and Alec Pierce, I don't know what their market is in terms of dollars, but I'm not trading more than like a 5th round pick at this point from the Jets. I feel like they want their top 4 picks. They shouldn't be moving a 4th round pick for a guy they then have to extend. So to me, it comes down to, like you said, the cap and the dollars and cents part. And I'm not giving up an asset and then extending a guy with huge dollars, putting 2 $30 million wide receivers on the books when I would much rather have 2 overpriced offensive guards that's going to be the focal point and the identification of this offense. And we know it's all going to stem through them. So I would prioritize other things besides like a mega deal for a McLaurin or a Chris Olave or a Jamison Williams, to Boy Green's point.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. This is our first show on the day. I'm live in Vegas. We're broadcasting the show from Circus Radio Row starting tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. I am going to do an early stream tomorrow. Just get us started at 11 a.m. Eastern. Matt O'Leary will join us in his weekly Thursday spot. So instead of 10, it will be 11, because doing a show live from Vegas at 7 in the morning, Dylan, that might be a challenge. So thank you to Matt for his flexibility with the time difference as well.
Well, when you go to sleep at 4 o'clock, I mean, it's hard to get up 3 hours later and try to put on a great show for these wonderful Asmaniacs. So
look,
it's mostly to provide you. What's that?
I said, these are your words, not mine.
Yes, this is all to provide you guys with better content. You don't want a sleepy Jake. You want Jake a well-rested, ready to go with Matt O'Leary, the GOAT.
That is right. A shout out to Matt O'Leary. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple memberships to shout out here. If you're tuning in late, in honor of me being in Vegas, we're doing what's called a dealer's choice giveaway. You choose the jersey you want to win. If you win, I'll spin the wheel of champions at the end of the show. We got 4 Jet players to choose from: Fields, Wilson, Gardner, and Jermaine. And by the way, we are going to cover what happened at practice today. Jermaine Johnson, though, spoiler alert, Dylan, it felt like every other play was sacked by Jermaine in the backfield. So maybe he will be pretty close to what he was in 2023, because if you just judge it based off today, my God, did he look like his Pro Bowl self?
Yeah, the last 2 days, he's really exceeded my expectations for him. I thought when he said, they're going to slow roll the Ferrari off the truck, I really thought they were going to do that. Clearly, he has other plans, and he's going to make the most of any reps this team gives him. The fact that he's in on team period in general is just amazing to me. I love this. I probably undersold the amount of snaps he's going to play in week 1 for this defense, but I will happily have, been under what he's going to play. If he plays 20 plus snaps in this week 1 game, dude, and he's playing at the level he's playing, 2 strip sacks today that ended the drive in team period. Yep. Let's go. Fire me up.
Love it. Speaking of things that fire me up, a lot of people in our raffle. Big Cho in the house. Coach Cho gifting 1 channel membership.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Cho, good luck. You're in the raffle for 1. How about Gary Thies? He is in our raffle for not 1, not 2, not 3. A 5 spot of memberships have just been gifted by Gary.
Show me the money.
Show me the money! Money.
Super chat from C, who says, love the player-led practice. AG building this thing the right way. I really hope he's the guy and really rooting for him. For those who don't know what C is referencing, Garrett Wilson told Overtime that on Monday, Aaron Glenn was out there with just the players, just overseeing practice. No other coaches, just Glenn and the players. Justin Fields called the plays for the offense. Jamie and Sherwood called the plays for the defense. And you had like an old school players leadership practice, and the Lions with Dan Campbell would do this. So Glenn, I think, took that with him from Detroit.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, I think somebody pointed out that this was something we got a small glimpse of when the Lions were on Hard Knocks and AG was the defensive coordinator there. So you just add it to the list of things that AG has brought over and put into his tool belt from his other stops as a coach that I can't, disagree with. I love this. Michael Carter even said it after practice. The teams that are player-led are usually the best teams in the league. And I fell for that under Aaron Rodgers and the pass regime because they wiped their hands of the coaching duties when that was kind of said, right? Aaron Rodgers was like, player-led teams are the best teams in the league. Robert Saleh said, hey, I can go play golf in Bedminster now. Now, Michael Carter says player-led teams are the best-led teams. AG's the only coach out there, and he's watching that player-led practice. So it's just a whole different vibe using the same terminology, but the response to it and the outcomes of that are going to be night and day from Saleh. We're actually going to see hands-on coaching despite player-led team.
Nutty Nurse checks in with a super chat. Looking to get entered in the awesome raffle? Good luck in Vegas. You have to see a show at the Spear. It's amazing. Nutty Nurse, you are in the raffle for 2. Believe it or not, I've never been to the Spear yet. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off during this trip. I'm just not here long enough to do it. But one of these days, I will definitely go to the Spear because I've driven by it before. I've been next to it. I just have never been, but it looks awesome. I've heard great things.
I know that you can see it from like the golf course that's over there in Vegas. And like, I couldn't imagine looking at the Sphere trying to hit my 5-iron toward a pin and seeing whatever the hell they put on that Sphere. So I'm sure it's quite the experience looking at that thing.
Oh, 100%. Taylor says, thoughts on the tight end room. Well, it's some room, isn't it, Dylan? Go ahead.
There's a room at One Jets Drive, and on the door it says tight end. What happens in that meeting, I truly don't know. Mason Taylor might be the only one in there. Andrew Beck sometimes makes an appearance when he's not in the running back room. Stone Smart might as well be with the wide receivers, and then Jeremy Ruckert might as well be cleaning out his locker because we need to swap him for a cut down tight end who's going to give you actual blocking, prowess, right? The Giants game was bad for Jeremy Ruckert. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. He was out there the second most of the tight ends with Justin Fields. I don't love that. The usage says tight end 2. He doesn't get targeted in this offense. He's not a good blocker, like I just mentioned. There's not much Jeremy Ruckert is doing at this point, so I think his days are waning. And this is, again, I keep going back to it, but tight end outside of special teams was my least favorite position group on the team, my weakest position group. Now you add Nick Folk. Mason Taylor had the injury. There was a time where tight end was the worst after, even special teams was better than him. So Mason Taylor being healthy does help their chances, but Ruckert needs to be gone, man. It's getting bad.
It just feels like, for whatever reason, he's still going to be on this team because every time they played in the preseason, he'd be out there with the starters. So, and when we would see the Jets with their ones in practice and it'd be a team period, he's out there. So I don't know what they see in him at this point, Dylan, other than the fact he was college teammates with Justin Fields. I mean, you can't tell me it's his playmaking. You can't tell me it's his blocking. Like if I say to you right now, hey, what does Mason Taylor do well? You could tell me what he does well. We've seen it and we've heard about it. If I say to you, what does Stone Smart do well? We could say, well, you know what? He gives you, some offense at that spot. He could catch the ball. He's a big dude. Like, he gives you something there. We saw it in the preseason. He made a great play against the Packers. If I say to you, what does Andrew Beck do? You could say he's a fullback / tight end, and he's made plays. I can't tell you what Jeremy Ruckert does.
And to say that he gets in the way would be overstating what he does, because if he just got in the way and the defender couldn't just plow right through him or get around him, it would be an upgrade from what he's currently doing, which is just allowing the defender into the backfield before Breece or Braylon even get the handoff from Fields. I put a screenshot in the backstage if you wanted to throw it up. It's just the snaps that, the starters got with Fields. And you look at Ruckert, and he's the second leading tight end when Fields is on the field in this preseason, and I absolutely hate it. Mason Taylor, it makes sense, right? He's going to be the number 1 tight end. Jeremy Ruckert should not be used as tight end 2. At this point, you might as well just have Beck be tight end 2, Smart be your tight end 3 / big slot wide receiver. And then you just trade for your swap Ruckert for a guy at cut down day who's going to actually put his hands on a defender.
Jet Set Fool says, what about Chris Olave? I don't think they're going to trade him, Jet Set Fool. I would be curious what the price would be for him. Once again, I'm willing to acquire a legit receiver. If Alec Pierce was acquired, I had to give up a 3rd-round pick. I think I would do it. Like, I'd rather just solidify wide receiver 2, know I have that guy, than go into this year with complete uncertainty if we're trying to put Fields in position for success. I think where it gets dicey, Dylan, is if you're giving up a 2nd and beyond, because you might need that pick to move up for a quarterback next year. Fields is not the guy. So I want to protect what I consider the premium assets, which is obviously next year's 1 and next year's 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chris Olave to me is like the premium version of Romeo Doubs. If you're going to kind of, get cheap in the market, you might go Romeo Doubs. But a guy with an injury history, concussion injury history in Chris Olave, he's one bad pass from Justin Fields away from potentially never playing football again. Like, that's just the honesty of the situation, right? I look at him and Tua as like they're one hit away from their careers just being done. And that's just an unfortunate place to be. So to say I want to trade an asset for Chris Olave, try to pay him a price that he wants, he looks at himself as a wide receiver 1, or I would assume he does in New Orleans, right? There hasn't been anybody since Michael Thomas at the wide receiver position. So Chris Olave is the sole productive wide receiver there. So I would be saying hell no to Chris Olave because of the injuries. And also I don't want to pay $30 million to a second wide receiver.
Comments, questions, super chats. We are going to cover what occurred at practice today because there's some interesting notes from that one. But first, Invader Zinn is in our Asmaniac raffle. He gifted 5 channel memberships to join the fun.
Money, 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 money.
Good luck to Invader Zinn. Robin in the raffle for 1. Robin Boy Wonders gifting 1 channel membership. And then we have a gifted membership from Phantom, Green, and White. All right, we are caught up on memberships. Now let's talk about today's practice. It was the last practice of training camp. And what I mean by that is this. From this point on, we will no longer have media on site watching practice. They could watch up to like stretching, and then that's it. So that you're not going to get, hey, Fields was 11 of 17 today with 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. You won't get those stats anymore because the media is not allowed to actually view it. And this was also the last practice that was open for the fans to attend as well. It sounds like it was another mixed bag for the offense, We did get the return of Jermaine Johnson wrecking havoc. It sounds like Quinnen had a big day as well. I was traveling during all this today, Dylan. I was just kind of scrolling Twitter throughout. You're probably way more plugged in than I was. But what stood out from what you saw today from this Wednesday camp practice? Then, of course, Friday, Eagles last preseason game, and then we'll get into the topic of the starters not playing.
Well, the first thing I want to point out off the field wise is the reporting of these practices. I put up a tweet comparing Robbie Sabo versus Connor Hughes's reporting of the Fields interception to Mason Taylor that was picked off by Brandon Stevens. Connor Hughes used 13 words and no context. Okay, I had to hit read more on Robbie Sabo's tweet, and I still felt like he wanted to give more context to what happened on the play. So it's really hard to, take these reactions 100% serious because you have guys that aren't giving the full context that's there. Robbie, to me, is one of the best reporters at practice, so I usually lean towards him. He said the interception was a good throw, maybe not the best throw based on the coverage, but all Connor Hughes said was bad throw intercepted by Fields or by Stevens. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes it look like Fields is trash. So I had an issue with the bit of the reporting. So I'm happy that these practices are going to be closed for the remainder of the year. I mean, I'm cool with not getting the reports from the reporters themselves, just hearing AG and the coordinators at the end of the week. Obviously, they're more pointed because they're with the team, obviously. But if we're going to lack context in these practice tweets anyway, what's really to glean from them, right? Other than fighting with people and saying, Fields is trash, he can't hit a 4-yard slant. Okay, but I just read Robbie's 3-paragraph essay about that pass, and it was a lot different than what it seems on the surface. So up and down day for Fields. We saw a little bit of this in yesterday's practice. Fields to Wilson. That connection is heating up. They connected in 7-on-7 for a touchdown yesterday. Had a great pass and a cover 2 hole shot down the left sideline in team drills. Today it carries over. They cap off a 14-play drive, Jake. They run the ball 9 times of the 14, including a quarterback sneak on 2nd and short. I love hearing those things. Then they get down into the red zone, and before they cap it off with a 7-yard Fields to Wilson touchdown, there's a report that they tried an end around to Garrett Wilson where he then tried to pass it to Justin Fields. I love the creativity from Tanner Engstrand. Like this is the stuff that gets me excited for the regular season. The stuff that makes me say, I don't care what the 29 plays of Justin Fields looked like in the preseason. It's just the bones of a much deeper, more wrinkled and variated offense. Like there's so many wrinkles that I can't wait to break down in the film tomorrow with the offense specifically. Engstrand is going to be in his bag at times this season. So I love that 14-play drive. I don't love the 2 interceptions. I don't love the strip sacks. But again, guys, this is a double-edged sword. Defense is flying around out there. Tony Adams is getting a strip sack. We don't hear the word safety blitz for the last 4 years. We're so unaccustomed to these things that I actually like Tony Adams forcing fumbles. I like Jermaine Johnson wreaking havoc. I absolutely love it. So Brian, Coach Glick in the comments says, I love wrinkles. I do. I prefer my women a little bit on the older side. So I do like wrinkles all around, but in my offense specifically. And we're seeing it, Jake. We're starting to see the variations of what this offense can be. So I'm not panicked about Fields not being on the same page as Garrett Wilson on a 4-yard slant. Okay, those things are going to get worked out. And on 3rd and 2 in that game, Jake, they're running the ball. And if they don't get the first down on 3rd and 2, they're running the ball again. Like that's what this offense is. It hasn't changed. The formula has been the same. Run and run some more. So the strip sacks and interceptions, it's bad, but I'm not going to kill him for it. The part, and this is a little bit of a tangent now, the part I'm going to kill Fields for is the last sentence of Sabo's tweet in team period. Quote, he's not even trusting his eyes right now. Jake, you know what happens when a quarterback doesn't trust their eyes? Zach Wilson type shit happens to this team when a quarterback doesn't trust their eyes. And that worries me the most about Justin Fields currently right now is that he's not trusting his feet. He's not trusting his eyes. He's not throwing guys open. He had a chance to hit Breece Hall on a flat route in the red zone. He turned it off and got flushed out of the pocket right. That's the stuff that's going to make me go ballistic with Justin Fields because it's a timing-based offense. And if you can't play in timing, you can't play. That's unfortunately the situation. So a lot of positives, a lot of negatives, but all in all, it's the eyes. That's what's killing me right now.
Well said. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Ralphie rocks in the house. Ralphie, he won a signed Darrelle Revis jersey yesterday. And I told this story, but for those who missed it, I think it's so funny. So Ralphie came to our watch party on Saturday with his son. He told me that his daughter took a signed Anthony Beck jersey that he also won in one of my raffles and wore it out and like ruined the jersey. So he had to bring the jersey in to like get it dry cleaned, and like the signature, they're not sure if the signature is going to be able to still be on there as strong as it was. So Ralphie, I think I don't need to tell you this. Make sure your daughter gets nowhere near that signed Darrelle Revis jersey, because that's a little more money than an Anthony Beck jersey, with all due respect to Anthony Beck.
Oh, that's so rough. Yeah. I had a situation. I put a hoodie with a picture in the washer and dryer when I first moved here. I didn't know it was in my laundry basket. It had like a old picture of me and my cousin and my brother as kids, and I put it in the dryer and it just ruined the picture. So yeah, I know all about ruining clothes in the laundry, but that's a tough one. Definitely don't let her anywhere near that Revis jersey.
Oh my God. Sean says keep her away from Beast too. Look, maybe a salient point. What do you think, Beast?
Hey, asshole, get a life!
Whoa. Why are you coming out of the gate so strong?
Some people gotta learn the hard way. Nobody gives a shit.
All right. As far as Ralphie's actual comment, went to practice yesterday. Jarius Monroe looked good in one-on-ones. Jake played the 11-14 split. They're both red and both in the same column too. You can play outside and inside. Ralphie, I will take that under advisement. Hopefully I win money with your strategy. Let's see. As far as Jarius Monroe, I actually thought he looked pretty good in limited sample size a year ago, Dylan. I mean, it's kind of forgotten because the team was terrible, but do you think he has a role in any capacity on this team this year?
I had him on my 53 over JBC. I think there's potential just because of how they used him in the preseason. They used him as a safety, and then towards the later portions of the game, they had him in as a boundary corner. So maybe they view him as a versatile piece. We saw, JBC was kind of that versatile guy for the Saleh regime, and they kind of kept bouncing him back and forth and didn't really have a role for him. If I had to guess, no, that's probably the one on my 53 that I don't feel comfortable with in Monroe, but I would like to see it. I love versatile defensive backs. I think if you can disguise what you're in with the same people on the field on defense, it's great. It's like disguising your offense, right? You show them one look, you go to another. If we can have the same defensive backs on the field and show 2 or 3 different looks, I like that too. So I like Jarius Monroe. I thought he did a little better last preseason than this preseason specifically, but I think he's doing well in his own right as, a depth piece on the secondary. So does he stay? Maybe not, but he has looked good in my opinion.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're presented by FanDuel. FanDuel is my go-to sports book when I am betting on the New York Jets. Dylan, Jets, Eagles tomorrow. Latest line at FanDuel has the New York Jets deemed as a, favorite, 2-point favorite. Do you believe in the Jets not playing their starters against the Eagles, who never play anyone in any preseason game? In fact, they actually sat their number 2 quarterback from a preseason game because that's how Nick Sirianni and company roll over there.
They know what they have, right, in their 1s and 2s. They really don't need to see it. So we're going to see a hell of a lot of Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Kyle McCord for the Eagles. I think it's the right decision from AG. Do I agree with it? No. And I can separate the two things, right? The fan of me, DT, the fan, wants to see more Justin Fields in the preseason. DT, the analyst, can come on and understand that the coaches see more in practice. And if they're getting to those points of progression and points of emphasis in practice and they don't feel the need to do it, that's okay. I also don't want to do the banter of Fields goes out against the Eagles 3s and has a good game. Oh, but it's just the Eagles 3s. Fields is still trash. Okay, so why is he even out there? Or he goes out there and doesn't perform well against the 3s, and people are like, see, I told you Fields was trash. Like, it sets it up for the narrative of Justin Fields to not end in his favor. So I do agree with it from the analyst standpoint. The fan standpoint, no. I don't want to see just 29 plays of Justin Fields. I want to see a lot more than that. I want to see him throw the ball, even if it's a 3 and out, I want to see him throw the ball 3 straight times to Garrett Wilson. Just let him cook one-on-one, whatever happens. If they bracket the safety over top of him, that's fine. Throw it to him 3 straight times, and then, show me that the connection's really not working. So they're keeping everything close to the vest, which I understand and I can appreciate, right? Don't give out any secrets, but if they don't come out against Pittsburgh and really ball out and show us things that we haven't seen before, it's a little worrisome, right? So it's a double-edged sword, but I agree with him ultimately to not play the guys.
I understand the thought process. I do. I guess my only gripe with the decision, I said this yesterday on the show with Richie from Jets Media, if you're not going to play the starters in the last game, isn't there an argument that they should have played more in the second game then, if that was the last
100%.
final tune-up game? Like, I think only 2 drives of Fields and the starters last week. It leaves a bad taste in our mouths because they didn't look good, right? They scored a field goal. The passing attack in particular didn't look good. The rushing attack certainly had moments where they looked like that team we think they could be. So I'm with you, Dylan. I thought maybe part of the reason they only played 2 series last Saturday was, okay, it's a short turnaround, 6 days in between games instead of a week. Maybe they're going to play a couple series against Philadelphia, but now they're not. So now I kind of feel like they should have played more against the Giants. That's kind of my feeling.
Yeah, Nick Shine and I were watching it live on his channel, and that's the first thing I said when we saw Fields wasn't coming out for that 3rd drive. I said, okay, well, maybe they're going to play him against the Eagles, and we can expect to see them in the 3rd preseason game. So, yeah, it's definitely somewhere that I disagree with Coach and the decision that he's made. But again, what are we actually seeing from Fields in the passing offense in this preseason that's going to, make a huge difference, right? And it's against the Eagles' 3rd strings. So again, what are we really proving by going out there and showing concepts that we don't need to show to Pittsburgh, right? There's a lot, and I'll get into it tomorrow with the film. There's so many RPO potential chances or zone read chances for Fields to just tuck it and go. He had an opportunity for a 60-yard touchdown untouched because they were crashing down on the running backs. The Giants knew the Jets weren't running their full offense, so they can key in on the running back. Once Fields sees that in a game situation, he's pulling it and he's running for 50, 60 yards. So I don't want to give out all the secrets, but I would selfishly have liked to see Justin Fields just go out there and throw the ball. Even if he struggled a little bit, I would have liked to see him throw the ball more.
Couple memberships to shout out. TH3 Entertainment is in our Dealer's Choice jersey raffle for 1. Big Cho, a 2nd entry for Big Cho. He's in for 1. And then let's shout out Man with a Rake who says, raffle a Richard Todd jersey. He won 2 playoff games. I'll tell you what, we're not doing that today because they don't sell those where we get the jerseys from for these raffles. But if you go on eBay, maybe I can acquire a Richard Todd jersey for a future giveaway just for you, Man with a Rake. Bang! Beats Custom Kicks. I have my Beats Custom Kicks with me here in Vegas. I got the white Jake Asman Show shoes. I'll be rocking it when I watch the Jets here on Friday night. He says, hey, Jake, I was at practice yesterday. My takeaway is Arian Smith looks like a real option at wide receiver. A lot of big-time plays, only 1 drop. Garrett Wilson, worth every penny. Our DB room is stacked. Love AG swag as a head coach. I think all these are fair takes. Arian Smith, we know the starters won't play. He's playing, though, I'd imagine, on Friday. So if you're looking for guys that aren't technically starters but could play a role on this team this year, especially Smith, who could have a bigger role if things go his way, he's someone I want to see continue to make plays, not have drops, go out there, do his thing for the 3rd preseason game in a row, DT.
The only unfortunate thing, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle of practice and then the trade and everything like that, there was a play where Arian Smith came up a little limping based on one of the reports. They didn't seem like it was anything serious. I just don't know if he finished practice or not. Hopefully it wouldn't hinder him from playing in this 3rd preseason game because I agree. He would be one of the first 3 wide receivers that I put on the field with either Martinez or Cook on Friday against the Eagles, right? It would be him. It would probably be Pritchett and Brandon Smith. And then they sit Wilson, Reynolds, and Tyler Johnson. That's how I would see it now. So, yeah, I would assume Arian Smith would play a lot of snaps on Friday. So I hope that whatever it was that happened today is okay. It sucks that we don't hear from AG after practice to get the injury report because the coordinators aren't going to say anything.
He also didn't speak at all today. So, which, by the way, I don't want to go down this path, but let's just say there are those on the Jets beat who are not thrilled with Glenn not speaking after practice today because the Jets put up their coordinators. I think technically the head coach has to speak after every training camp practice, and he didn't speak. So I won't name names, but there are some beat reporters who think it's a violation. That said, I'll survive without hearing from Aaron Glenn till Friday night. But you're right.
Yeah.
By not hearing from Glenn, we don't know the severity of
So is Rich
injury.
Cimini going to get a second Jets head coach a fine for not following rules? Because we know about Parcells and the $10,000 fine for not having media in the locker room. So, hey, just we'll hear from him when we hear from him. All right.
Well, no injury updates for us. Let's see.
And there are a couple injuries. There are some injuries of note too, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, good to see Sauce back out there doing his thing.
Yeah, and AZ Thomas, cornerback room is fully healthy. Yep.
They have a lot of guys there. You're 100% right. Let's see. You got a super chat from Dominic who checks in. If you had to pick one dark horse player for the offense and defense, who are you picking? Jake, if you like donuts, go to Pink Box at the Plaza on Fremont. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not far from there because I'm staying at Circa Las Vegas, which is on Fremont. So I will look into that, Dominic. Thank you very much. As far as the first question, Dylan, you start.
Okay, dark horse player on offense. I'm going to say it's Armand Membu, and it's not the sexy pick because it's not a skill position, but he kind of hinges what this offensive line can be. We kind of know what the four from left tackle to right guard are, but if he can be, that prove it right tackle, I'm going to be the guy for the future. Your bookend is fine opposite Olu. He would be the guy that I think really unlocks this offense for what they want to do, run the ball, right? How many times do they run the ball off the center, right guard, or right tackle? It seems like it's majority of the time right now. So I think Armand Membu would be my dark horse for offense and defense. Ooh, that's a good one. There's so many good players on defense. I guess I'm going to go Malachi Moore. He's a guy that I've been, praising up this entire training camp portion. I think he's going to get run with the ones sooner rather than later, but I think he can unlock a lot of things with this defense as well. So I know people are a little mad that he doesn't wrap up and he was just kind of hitting tight ends with his shoulder, and I don't like that either. But I feel like, if he can play to his ability, if he just learns to react instead of just go sometimes and just let the play go. Sometimes the term slow till when you're at the second level, those linebackers, corners, and box safeties, slow till is sometimes the best approach. If you think it's a handoff and you just shoot in there into the gap and you take yourself out of the play action play, it's not a good look, right? It felt like he, on that toss play specifically, Jackson Dart did the fake toss and then he popped it to the tight end running a little post route. All three of our second level defenders got sucked down to play the fake toss, right? It was both linebackers and Malachi Moore. I felt like Malachi Moore had the best chance to make a play if he reacted to the play action better. But again, I think it's little things like that. If he actually hammers those home, not only is he going to be a starter, but this defense is just going to unlock multiple different things they can do. Dime, big nickel. He's playing in the slot already. So I would say Membu offense and Malachi Moore defense.
Kyle Clifton in the house. He sends in a $10 super chat. He joins the raffle for 2. Hit it. Betting this Jets-Eagles preseason game is a litmus test that Gamblers Anonymous uses to detect serious gambling problems. Well, what if I told you, Kyle Clifton, that I'm betting it? All right. Now, am I betting a lot of money on it? Maybe. Maybe not. But I'm betting it. All right. So you're talking to me. You're talking to me.
Jake the Degenerate.
Gator says, I had those donuts, Pink Box. Holy freaking bleep. Good stuff. Well, I'm going to have to try it. If both Gator and Dominic say that Pink Box is good for donuts, I'm in. I'm sold.
Are you normally a donut guy?
I like donuts. I usually prefer just going to like Dunkin' Donuts and getting like a nice chocolate glazed. Typically, I try, but like the problem is donuts are so good. You ever look at how many calories are in there? It's like you have 360 calories in a chocolate glazed donut. And while I love it, it's tremendous. It's such a poor use of calories because like you could take down a donut in 10 seconds and then you're like, man, I just added 360 calories for what? Like 10 seconds of enjoyment and then it's over. Like then you need to have even more to really get your donut fixed. And before you know it, you just put in like 1,000 something calories on 3 donuts.
Oh, 100%. And 3 donuts, like it's really easy to eat 3 donuts. If you're hungry early in the morning, you get a nice little Ricky New York wake and bake. 3 donuts is easy. So the only time I eat donuts, honestly, is Senior Bowl week in Mobile because everybody floods to like the Starbuckses and the Dunkin' Donuts before practice in the morning. So every day you're already there at the coffee shop. So I'm like, all right, toss like 15 munchkins in a box. I'll take them with me to practice and I'll just keep popping them all day long. But yeah, that's really the only time I eat donuts because they can get to you quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button if you haven't. Reminder, we are giving away a Jets jersey, dealer's choice, in honor of me being at Circa for the next couple days doing our show. Chance to win Fields, Wilson, Gardner, or JJ, your jersey of choice in either green or white at the end of the stream. We're going to get to your calls coming up here shortly. Turd Ferguson with a super chat here. He's in the raffle for 2. It never gets old saying the name Turd Ferguson, so thank you, Turd. Missed the beginning, so not sure if you guys already went over wide receiver trade options, but I have no interest in giving up anything for Dobbs. We did cover Dobbs. Sounds like there's lightning or thunder in Dylan's area right now. I can't relate, baby. Yeah. Oh, you can't even see, but take my word for it. It's very sunny. As far as other receivers, Turd Ferguson, we did cover that, so rewind to the beginning of the video. Should I be concerned, Dylan, that the thunder and lightning might knock out your internet at some point?
Yeah, there's a good chance. I always forget about these Carolina storms, dude. They roll in for like 30, 45 minutes, real heavy, and then the sun comes back out and makes everything muggy and disgusting. I was only going to hang out a little bit longer than an hour because we did start late, but I think we should be okay for the next like 15, 20 minutes if we break into calls or whatever we do.
Perfect. All right. Before we break into calls, a message from Fireman Ed.
Hey, it's me, Fireman Ed. I'm heading to Bermuda with my man Jake Osmond. Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas, May 30th to June 4th, 2026. Join the New York football legends Marty Lyons, Bilal Powell, Leon Washington, Sean Ellis, Kevin Mawai, Chris Ivory, and Jericho Cotchery, and all the podcasters. We are going to have the time of our lives, Q&As, meet and greets. It's going to be a spectacular cruise. Come join Fireman Ed on the cruise of a lifetime. Go to cruisewithlegends.com and book your trip today. $500 off a person up until September 7th. Let's go!
Yeah, cruisewithlegends.com for all the info. If you're going to join us, save $500. Lock in your spot. They have all different price point information on the site. If you want a suite, if you want a cabin that faces the water, if you want one that doesn't, I mean, all the different cruise options for you. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Gangrene Legends Cruise is coming. Be a part of it with Fireman Ed, all the Jet YouTubers you love, myself, all the players. It's going to be a magical time. A magical time. A cruise of a lifetime, I believe Ed said in that commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, book now. cruisewithlegends.com. DT, you ready to take a couple calls before the hurricane hopefully doesn't wash you away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, Papa Jet will start us off today. Hello, Papa.
How you guys doing?
Papa.
Hey, I just got in, so I'm sure you guys covered this, but I see we traded for a DT. Who do you think that puts in danger of losing their spot?
Right now, I would say it's either Derek Nottie or Fedarian Mathis, and I would lean probably Derek Nottie. I think Mathis has shown a little bit more in the preseason, not a ton more, but Nottie has been absent, and he can't get off a double team to save his life. He's getting pushed back in the run game, not getting any use of, a pass rush out of him either. So I would say it's Derek Nottie right now on the outside looking in.
Okay, so you still think Taylor the third's safe?
I hope so. And the guy that they brought in, Briggs, is more of a run stuffer. So Taylor is more of the pass rusher. So they would complement each other better. So I think Taylor would be safe for that reason. Yeah.
Okay. And then when's the cut down to 53?
4 p.m. on August 26th. So the Tuesday following this weekend.
Okay. Because I also saw reports out there where there was some rumors we were hot on some wide receiver trades, But wouldn't we want to at least get down to cut down day and just see who gets released before we trade for somebody?
Well, what happens sometimes, Papa, is teams that are about to cut someone, they shop them around to see if they could do what the Jets did today with the defensive tackle they acquired, right? It was basically like a pick swap. The Jets, they traded a 6th, they got back a 7th. So the Browns, who were going to cut this player that the Jets added, all it cost the Browns was, hey, we were able to move up in the draft by a round, you know?
Okay. And then, Jake, I've been kind of in and out for 3 or 4 days. I just busy week, but what's this alliance stuff? I missed it. So what is this alliance? Is it a contest I got to join, or what is it?
Well, if we're going to talk about the alliance, there's only one man that is equipped to talk about such a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the architect, the man behind the dangerous alliance himself.
First show today, a lot happened. In fact, I actually received a lengthy email from Beast.
That's the straw that just broke the camel's back. I'm here for football and basketball takes. Enough of the Harry Potter shit that's blown out of proportion, and you went too far with the Azzies on wives, adding my mom on there. Just went too far over the line. It's like I try to be nice, and you just shit on me. You could take Harry Potter and the other shit, turn it sideways up your ass. And Nickelback is trash. My metal would destroy that shitty band in 1,000s of ways, because my powers are unforgiving, relenting, and painful beyond submission. Don't play with a king who has immoral powers. And yes, I have powers. I learned from God and many other people I work with. And I'll be damned. If you want to go toe-to-toe with me, you don't want none of me, because as powerful as I can be, you know how hard my life was, yet you make a mockery out of me. You're going to learn the hard way. P.S. Either talk football with me or beat it, scrub.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially at war with Beast.
Ruckett has to go. I'm sorry. He's not fit. He's not good enough. He's too slow. Sorry. Gotta go. He has to go.
How do you lead with a Jeremy Ruckert take after I set you up to talk about the dangerous alliance?
I'm trying to make a point. I was making a point because I was actually paying attention and having this nice, fresh Gordon Ramsay burger that I just
That's what's all over your face. I got it now.
Gordon Ramsay
Hey,
Gordon
put your
burger.
light on. It's tough to see the Gordon Ramsay burger.
Man's burger, my man. Man's burger. Good choice. And where is this meat from? 6-letter word. Costco. Now Ruckett's going to be cut. I do see Clemens having to be cut because can't have him. He causes more of a ruckus, and I do see some other guys getting cut as well. So if they get cut, oh well, you know, that's life. But we can't do anything about everything. So enjoy the day. Have a burger. Kick back. Enjoy. It's only Wednesday, but don't worry. Friday's around the corner. And I just heard thunder from.
Is that thunder or your stomach, Beast?
No, that's from Dylan's side because he's getting the rain where he's at.
Oh,
So
I thought it was your
enjoy
stomach.
the day, have a burger, and bon appetit.
Hey, before we let you run so you can eat your burger, can you show everyone the shirt that you're wearing, Beast? It's a limited edition shirt.
Yeah, I got a chance to wear this today while going to You Save Big Money. You save big money when you shop Menards.
Why don't you give us the Garrett Wilson catch in your Beast Breaker themed shirt?
Ooh, mid-burger.
I just had hey.
Hey, hold the burger in one hand and catch in the other, right? That's the key.
Hey, I don't know about that one. I don't want to be breaking this damn burger. This is fresh.
Yeah, but you have skills. You said you have power. That would show me power if you could do the catch while holding a burger.
HB draw with a little bit of a slingshot. Left cross. Goes up to the line. Position shows. Get over here. Get over there. Get ready. Get ready. Red. Red. Red 23. Red 23. Get ready. 318. That's it. Ooh. Touchdown. Woohoo. Oh, shit.
Wow, that was a great Beast call, man. We led with a Rucker take, then we got to the burger, we ended with a catch, and once again, a question that was asked by Papa Jet was completely ignored. Beast didn't even cover why he started the, quote, dangerous alliance.
We hit all the bases of that Beast call. He definitely had a little bit of that burger grease right here. You can see before he turned his ring light on.
Ah, man, that was something. Hey, shout out to Diggy Smalls. He's in our raffle for one. Let's get to, you got time for another call, DT, then we'll let you run?
Yeah, I got nothing to do but look at the rain and make some dinner. But yeah, I got one more in me.
All right. I'll let you pick. I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready?
Uh-oh.
You have the following options. I won't tell you the order they called in here, so it's truly up to you to decide who you would like to talk to for your last call. You ready? David T, Big Joe, JJ, Gary, Ricky, PBM. They're all on hold right now. You decide who I go to. And let me throw one more in that just called in, Neil. So those are your options.
Okay. I've talked to everybody on this list once before, except for one person. So bring on JJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, dealer's choice, JJ. You're the closer for Dylan T. Wow, hold on. No, he's here. He's here. JJ. Hello, JJ.
Dylan, you're a smart man. You know, you picked someone who's going to bring a lot of value to your life today. Jake,
I either wanted to
start
argue with you or agree with you to end my call. So yeah, I brought you on for sure.
Well, before we get to the arguing and the disagreements, Jake, I was just in Las Vegas. I actually just left yesterday, so I missed you by a day.
This is where you and I hung out, JJ. We had a great time at Circa a few years ago.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said we had a good time when you came to Circa for the draft a couple years ago.
Yeah, we could have did it again. Sorry. I wanted to say that I did witness that guy give a kid a sticker. You know what I'm talking about?
Richie?
Yeah.
At training camp. Yeah, I witnessed it. Jay Quest is not lying about that. The kid, it was a chubby kid, a little fat kid came up to him and he just pulled out a sticker and handed it to him and then went back to looking at the football game. I don't think it on purpose or anything. I think he was just into the practice and then he just handed the little fat kid the sticker and then went about his business. So Jay Quest is telling the truth about that.
If it was team period, I would believe that. I think Richie would be locked in on like a team period or 7-on-7 and just be like, all right, here's the sticker. Come back later. And the kid probably took it weird.
Yeah, no, it was pretty much that. Now, you guys are gonna disagree with me, but we watched a lot of Jets versus Giants during the week. I mean, they were practicing against these guys every day, so I don't have a problem with them taking out Justin Fields early. Wait, hold on, can you guys hear me?
I can't. Yeah, no, in and out a little bit.
I wasn't sure if you were done. I was getting ready to agree with you, actually.
JJ,
hold on. I'm losing signal because I'm on a bridge.
I couldn't tell. We'll come back to you. Dylan, you guys want to do one more so we can end on a higher note?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Who
you pick this one? You pick.
No, dealer's choice.
All right. I remember most of the names.
David T, Big Joe, Ricky, PBM, Gary, or Neil.
Bring on Gary. I'm ready to point.
Ladies and gentlemen, he wanted Gary. Apologies to the ladies in the chat, including Amanda, who wrote, "Don't pick Gary. He's sexist." Well, guess
what?
I'm
sorry, Amanda.
Too late. Gary's been selected.
He's pointing. Gary Box, point at you. Gary Box, I point at you. Gary Box, I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Gary Box, point at you. I point.
That was an excellent selection you made there, Dylan. Good pick. Good pick.
I picked you and JJ for a reason. There's reasons.
JJ, I'd good points. I'd pick JJ over me too. JJ's the best. He's the best caller.
I've never talked to JJ, so I wanted to give him a try. His internet had other plans though.
That's his Achilles right there. Is his internet is never really good, especially when he calls in from his cell phone in the car. It's
forget it.
Well, but
and it's raining. You're asking for help.
Yeah, his material is second to none. He's the best caller on the show, and I stand on that. But you made a really good point, about Fields and wanting to let him ball out. You know, the Jets, our history of quarterbacks, and the Bears' history of quarterbacks, it's always been, well, just don't blow the game. Just don't be Zach Wilson. Just don't do that, right? And like I always like Sanchez, and it's like they bottled him up so much those first 2 years, right? Just trying to win 7-3 with Rex Ryan, right? It's like let him ball, let him play. And you're saying if he goes out there and he sucks, okay. Now if he sucks every week, great, we got an answer. Pull him. He can't do it. But like let him. He's such a gifted athlete. Like I keep saying this. He's one of the most gifted athletes to ever play that position. Why do you want to just bottle him up and try to just manage games? Like, this is not a year with super high expectations. Like with, Mark Sanchez, we're like, wow, we may actually win. Like, the only way we're going to win this year is if Justin Fields balls out. If he plays like an above average quarterback, we're going to be an above average team. If he plays like a below average quarterback, we're going to be a below average team.
What if he's average, though? What if he's average, doesn't turn it over, and the defense is awesome?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think like the rest of our roster is kind of okay. Like it's not great. I was talking to Alan. Alan thinks it's one of the worst in the league. I don't think that. I think it's kind of like a middling kind of 500-ish kind of roster. Now, what kind of play can you get out of your quarterback? If you put Zach Wilson on a 500-ish team, you're gonna go 3-14. If you put Josh Allen on a 500 team, you're gonna go 14-3. Like so, I don't think Fields is Zach Wilson. I don't think he's Josh Allen. He's somewhere in the middle. But like, where exactly in the middle is he? And the only way we're gonna find out is to stand in there and let your hands go, right? Like don't bottle him up. And I think Dylan makes a good point. If he goes out there and he has horrible games, all right, you live with that. But I think he's going to go out there and have more great games and he has horrible games. So let him cook.
100%. They're going to put him in better positions to succeed than I think his past stops have. And just because it doesn't come to fruition in a preseason game as a true drop back passer, that's not what he is, right? That's not what he's been. Like, he was that in Ohio State to a degree, but he's always been that athletic guy who has second most rushing yards by a quarterback in a season behind, I think it's Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick. So it's like, this guy has what he has, and the Jets know that, and they're not going to fool anybody and try to put him into, square peg into round hole. They're going to let him do what he does, and that's cook with his legs, ground and pound, play action, change the launch points, get him out into space where if it's not open, he can just tuck it and run for a couple yards. So, yeah, they're not going to ask him to be Peyton Manning and read a defense and call it all from the huddle or like at the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I'm intrigued by Justin Fields and what they can be, and I'm just not ready to say it's trash or the whole season's a waste because of 2 preseason games.
JJ's back. He claims his internet connection's crystal clear. So, Dylan, I'm trying to give you a little 2-for-1 special here.
It is crystal clear, I think. I wanted to disagree with Gary, even though Gary is my favorite caller. I don't think that we have a 500 roster. I think we have a winning roster. I think we have a much better roster than what we had last year. I think that if you look at the defense is better. If you look at the O-line's better. And if you look at the coaching staff is better. Everything's better. The only thing that we probably downgraded at is our number 2 wide receiver. But then again, I mean, Devontae Adams didn't really bring much value to us because all Aaron Rodgers did was force feed him the ball. So, yeah, on paper, he was a better receiver. But, I mean, I don't really think he brought much value to the team last year. And that's a JJ standalone opinion. I don't care. But if you look at our O-line is much improved. Our running back room is much improved. Our tight end room is much improved. I don't really see where we got worse as a football team if you look at the roster.
Well, last year we won 5 games, right? So, I mean, 8, 9, 9, and 8 would be a vast improvement from last year. Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
yeah, but
I agree.
We're going to win 10. We're going to 10.
Perfect connection, my ass.
Crystal clear.
No, I do think we have a better roster than last year. I still think there's flaws like the safety room and the wide receiver room. I mean, like we need to be honest about that. Those are not top tier rooms. But I always said like having an offensive line is like having a jab. It can take you a long way and it can cover a multitude of sins. You can get away with a lot of bad things if you have a really good jab and you have a really good offensive line. I mean, we got to see Memble, but like on paper, the line should be really good. And when you have a really good offensive line, like I said, it covers up a lot of sins. You can get away with a lot if you got a really good jab or you have a really good offensive line.
What do they say about knockouts, Gary?
They don't matter if you land enough jabs.
Well, that's the thing.
Knockouts don't matter if you land enough jabs.
I think we saw the knockout punch quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, right? He wanted to throw the ball all over the yard, get his boy Devontae Adams in here, and it didn't really work. Now we have the quarterback who's probably going to jab and take you all 12, 13 rounds. I don't even know how many rounds boxing is. Is it 12 or 13? I don't know. He's going to take
12,
you to, it's 12.
It's 12. World title fight is 12 rounds. Yeah.
I thought so.
Knockouts don't matter if you land enough jabs.
But that's what I think we have in Fields is the jab quarterback who is not afraid to take 8 yards at a clip. And I understand, dude. People get so mad when you watch the film back and it's like, he had the deep shot, but he took the smart throw and gained a first down and got 24 yards with Andrew Beck. Like, so does it matter how we get there? Honestly, Jake, if I told you the goal of football from the offensive perspective isn't to score a touchdown, it is to achieve as many first downs as possible until you end up into that little box at the end of the field that's called the end zone. That's what football is. It's not about getting to the end zone as quickly as possible. It's getting as many first downs as you possibly can, because then you will get there eventually. So I don't care how it happens, but get me first downs and get me into the end zone one way or another. It doesn't have to be flashy. And if it's ground and pound, establishing the line of scrimmage, I'm all for it.
Amen. Look, if they win games, I don't care how they do it. Win games. This team has not won more than 7 games in 10 years. Forget the playoffs. 7 wins. That's the most they've won over 10 years. Crazy.
Yeah. Connor Long and the crew has only seen 1 winning season, and they don't even realize like what happened in that season that made it that season. Like they were so young, and Gino getting punched in the face and all those things in training camp. Like,
do we have another trade here? I'm seeing something in the chat. Vikings sending veteran nose tackle Harrison Phillips to the Jets. Is this real?
I'm looking.
Bill M is writing that. Who's reporting it?
I would believe Bill M to not give us phony reporting.
It's real. More trades.
Okay, yep.
Friend to the show, Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network is reporting this. That's a real player right there they just added.
Harrison Phillips is a veteran. Yeah, he is 29 years old. So he's right on the cusp of Buffalo Jet fans' John Simpson rule. I don't know about his injury history, but okay. 306
real player.
pounds, 6'3". This is a player here. Captain, as you can see on the graphic.
This is your starter next to Quinnen Williams, man. Muji's making moves, man. They just clearly they were not satisfied with what they saw against the Giants when the Giants just ran it down their throat. I heard Connor Rogers on Badlands talk about this. And by the way, I'm hosting their live show Saturday, so get your tickets and use code Asman if you want to go. But he made the point that he watched the film and was like, the defensive line was terrible against the run, and without McDonald out there and Jermaine, it looked horrible. So in the last now 12 hours, the Jets have traded for not 1 but 2 defensive tackles. According to Tom Pelissero, the Jets are acquiring Harrison Phillips for a 2026 6th-round pick and a swap of picks in 2027. So the Jets today have used a 7th and a 6th to add 2 defensive tackles, and they really didn't lose any picks in the process other than 1 6th-round pick this year. So I like it. Let Muji try and supplement the roster and let Glenn be able to coach these guys up. But this guy's a legit player, man. He's older. Harrison Phillips has been in the league a long time, Dylan, but this is not a nothing player here. Like Harrison Phillips is like a known player in this league for a long time at that position.
Absolutely. Adam Schefter reporting it's Phillips and a 2027 7th for 2 6th-round picks, 1 from this year and 1 from 2027. So they're really giving up minimal assets. And if, like you said, if this is the guy next to Quinnen Williams, which I would anticipate it is, right? He's 29 years old, a former captain, tons of experience in this league. This is probably going to be the guy next to Quinnen, and I'm really excited about it. Mooj listened when we all said we still need a defensive tackle, and he went out and he got 2 today. Obviously, I think they give you different skill sets. I would say Harrison Phillips, in my opinion, although it says listed as nose tackle, I think he's more of a pass rusher. I'll have to look up his PFF.
2 sacks last year, 3 the year prior. Actually, is that sacks? No, that's sacks. Yeah, you know what I like about him, just looking at his stats here? Guy plays every week, man. Last 3 years, he's played 17 games each year. He's incredibly durable. He's only 28. He just turned 29 in January, so he's going into his age 29 season. I think he's a true stop the run nose tackle next to Quinnen Williams. So
no, yeah, he definitely is. 21
see you later, Derek
stops against
Nottie.
the run. Yep, Derek Nottie's gone. I would say Fedarian Mathis is probably gone too. Similar body type, 300 plus pounds, 6'3", so like big body in the middle. I definitely think this is a run defender. You're right. 21 stops according to PFF last year versus only 11 total pressure, 16 total pressures. So yeah, this is a run stuffing starter next to Quinnen Williams, in my opinion. Yep.
The Vikings have a lot of guys at that position. They're very deep in their room. So, I mean, we opened the show talking about the Jets acquiring a defensive tackle from the Browns in Jawan Briggs, and they traded a 2026 sixth-round pick, got back a 2026 seventh-round pick for that. They're trading, once again, a 2026 sixth-round draft pick. You said it's 2 sixth-round draft picks the Jets are trading?
Yeah, 2026 and a 2027 sixth-round pick.
I love it, man.
Yep, they swap 2027 sixth and sevenths, and they give up a sixth. And they had so many sixths coming into, the 2026 draft, which we all assumed was going to be for trade-ups for a quarterback. But to do this late-round pick swap and get a starting nose tackle, yeah, absolutely like it.
Great deal. Dude, he's
over the
6'3".
last 3 years. Sorry,
I was just going to say, guess his weight. 6'3", how many pounds?
I would say anywhere from like 307 to 313.
He's listed at 6'3", 307. Dylan, you nailed it.
Oh, shit. Let's go. Yeah, he's just that build, that Fedarian Mathis type, right? So
a big fatty, to quote Neil, who I'm sure loves this deal on hold right now. A big fatty next to Quinnen Williams. They got the big
cigars are
deal.
Being lit for Harrison Phillips right now in the green room. Last 3 seasons with Minnesota, 738 snaps, 838 snaps, 701 snaps. So you're looking at 2,300 snaps, give or take, for Harrison Phillips over the last 3 seasons. He's played majority of the seasons in every year of his career. All 4 in Buffalo, he played majority of the season. So he's definitely a durable player. And I think this is going to be a key contributor on this defensive front. And they saw it. They went back, they watched the film against the Giants, and they saw how ugly it was. Jay Tufele couldn't get off a double team. Derek Nottie wasn't doing pretty much anything. So this is definitely a really good trade for the Jets, in my opinion.
We are reacting to the breaking news, actual breaking news, that the New York Jets have just acquired defensive tackle Harrison Phillips from the Vikings. This guy has been a really stout run defender his whole career. I mean, he's been in the league for 7 years. He's going into year number 8. And I want to check his contract, Dylan. Is he a free agent at the end of the year? Is he a rental? Is that why he was available here? Let's see. He will hit. No, it looks like he signed. He's signed through 2026. So this guy could potentially be Quinnen's running mate for the next 2 years, and you got him for late round picks. Now you are taking on his contract, and I'm looking at his cap number this year. If the Jets took on the full thing, looks like it's around $9.6 million and then $9 million next year. But they had a lot of cap space. The Jets had the 3rd most amount of cap space in the league going into training camp. This is why you have that cap space. Good job by Darren Muji here, finding value and addressing a real need. I feel really good about this defense if Harrison Phillips, you're telling me, is out there next to Quinnen Williams with Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald. My biggest concern was the run defense. This guy's awesome at that.
Yeah, 100%. And even if they don't like what they see from him this year, entering his age 30 season in 2026, he has a dead cap of $1.6 million and a cap savings of $7.5 million. So if the Jets really don't like what they see on a one-year rental, 2 6th-round picks, and you get a 7th back, it's not the end of the world, and they can save money next year if they do decide to part ways with him. So I like this. Field Yates, kind of on a tangent, he did a mock draft where the Jets traded up from 4 to 6 to get a quarterback. I think it was Lenoris Sellers. But at that 4th spot, the Giants took a defensive tackle who I would have been happy with too, Peter Woods from Clemson. So I was, anticipating Fields being the guy going after defensive tackle and wide receiver in the draft next year, but this could eliminate a potential need at the top of the draft next year for the next, 2-year bridge option for Harrison Phillips.
Antoine Staley from the New York Daily News says the Jets will owe Harrison Phillips $7 million this year, but they could release him after this year, and his money is not guaranteed. So I like this deal even more. It could be a 1-year rental if he's, if he gets hurt, if he's not a good fit, if he's washed, which I don't think he is. It's not like he's old. You could play into your mid-30s at defensive tackle in the NFL. He's 29 this year. He turned 29 in January. So next year he'd make $6.89 million, not guaranteed. There's nothing not to like about this deal, I think, if you're a Jet fan. I think the Jets wisely addressed a huge weakness on this team. We saw it on Saturday. We've seen it throughout the summer. Derek Nandi was thought to be a guy that could plug and play. He's not that guy. There's really no one you could point to. Maybe you could say Tafili, but he's more of a pass rusher at that spot than a run stuffer. Yep. They needed someone, and they added Phillips, who's legit. And I even like the signing the trade they made earlier. We talked about it. So rewind, folks, if you're just tuning in. Jawan Briggs does provide some upside against the run, who they got from the Browns. So Muji working the phones today, not necessarily for a receiver just yet, but he's acquired 2 big fatties, and that is big for the Jet defense.
It's funny. I'm typing in Briggs into my database, and I accidentally typed in Briga. But yeah, the Jets saw a deficiency on tape against the Giants and to a lesser extent against the Packers in the second half. And they said, that's not going to work for us. We need to go out and get guys who are going to be good run stuffers. I thought Briggs was a great addition because of his run stuffing prowess. Now you add a veteran in Harrison Phillips. So yeah, I'm really excited. And the defensive line now kind of did not a full 180, but 90-degree turn in the right direction. The pendulum swinging the right way. I'm excited. We obviously won't see either of these guys, in my opinion, on Friday against the Eagles. Maybe you see Jawan Briggs would be my prediction, right? I would rather see him than Harrison Phillips. We know what the veteran is, but another aspect of this too, Jake, before I get out of here, this is an old Vikings player. How many times has, Aaron Glenn said, oh, I saw him when we played against him when I was in Detroit and we really liked him. That's how they came across Justin Fields, right? They liked what he did against their defense, so they signed him. So I like that, Aaron Glenn, obviously, and Darren Muji, I would say more Glenn, but I love that they're not, they're not confident, but they're not settling with what the production output was from the defensive interior. I love this move.
More reasons to even like it. Schefter reporting 20 seconds ago, as part of this trade, Vikings agreed to pay $3.7 million of Harrison Phillips' $7.4 million salary. So the Jets get a defensive tackle and some savings. So they didn't even have to pay his full salary this year and got someone that is automatically the starting defensive tackle on this team. I mean, look, I'm not trying to tell you that Harrison Phillips is Aaron Donald, but he's a starter in this league. He's a good player, good leader. He's a perfect fit for what they needed, and they didn't have to pay the full salary. Muji did a great job with this deal. Props to him.
Yeah, I'm deciding between, is it the east side of MetLife Stadium or the west side of MetLife Stadium where they're going to put up the statue for Darren Muji. I'm not quite sure. But this is great. Yeah, all positive signs. And hopefully, Phillips brings that element that we didn't have before. So very encouraged by this news that, one, proactivity by the coaching staff in the front office, but two, recognizing a deficiency and then attacking it twofold with two different additions. I like this. And you gave up 3 6th-round picks at the end of the day. You get 2 7ths back, but great value for what I think you can get out of these guys.
All right, let's make you put your GM hat on here before you go, Dylan. And thanks for sticking around extra because we talked about you leaving a while ago, but you're putting the GM hat on here. You're the GM of the Asmaniacs for this question. So they now have Phillips. They obviously made the trade earlier to get the player from the Cleveland Browns. They acquired Briggs, Jawan Briggs, earlier today. So that's 2 new defensive tackles in that room. Roster cuts are next week. How many DTs are the Jets keeping? How many edge rushers are the Jets keeping? Who's now making your 53-man roster following these 2 additions?
You want the full Mad Max 53? Or
Give
just
me the
defensive
full
line?
Mad Max, all 53 players, 1 through 53, off the top of your head, in alphabetical order as well.
Oh, shoot. I had them in age order in my head. I wasn't even thinking alphabetical order. God damn it, Jake. You throw me for a loop every time. Defensive edge, obviously.
What do you guys' opinion on
Jermaine Johnson
through this orange wall?
Sorry, I had to. Continue.
I love that I'm in the bottom corner there too. Okay, let's go. Defensive line, I have edge 5 players, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, Tyler Barron, and a free agent to be determined at a later date. I'm sticking with that prediction. They're going to sign a free agent edge that is not on the team. And defensive interior, I also kept 5, so a total of 10. I kept Quinnen, Byron, Tufele, Taylor III, and Mathis. So now you think you have to do a little bit of scrambling around. They're going to keep Briggs. They're going to keep Phillips. So maybe Leonard Taylor III is on his way out, and you keep Quinnen, Cowart, Tufele, Phillips, and Briggs, so that you have a nice 2-2, 2 run stuffers in Phillips and Briggs, 2 pass rushers in Byron and Jay Tufele, and then Quinnen Williams, who's kind of your do-it-all, can be good at everything. So I have 5 defensive ends, 5 defensive tackles, 10 total defensive linemen.
Okay. I like the room a lot better now than I did 12 hours ago.
100%, dude. 100%. We're looking up. If we get an edge, like I said, a free agent edge, if we, maybe we explore Kyle Duggar in the safety market, his contract is kind of astronomical, and then you explore like a wide receiver 3 market, maybe not in a trade, and then you cut Jeremy Ruckert for a cut down tight end. We're 17-0, Jake. That's what I'm looking at.
Wow. Darren Muji cooked today. Turned a major weakness into competency, right? Can I say the Jets are going to be competent against the run now?
I think it's a fair assumption. It's a fair expectation, right? With a guy like Phillips, maybe Briggs being the only addition. No, but definitely with Phillips, that's a huge addition, figuratively and literally.
Well done, Muji. Well done. Tweet sent. Darren Muji cooked today. Turned a major weakness into competency and didn't give up anything to do it. Well done. At Jake Asman. Just tweeted that. Follow me there. Dylan, you're the man. Thank you for hopping on. Good luck with the thunderstorms. And I appreciate your instant analysis to a breaking news Jet trade. We don't typically get that. And now we had 2 trades today, including one during the show, which is awesome. It's always when I travel, there's breaking Jet news every time. It's amazing.
It's always like whenever a big content creator is traveling, whether it's you or the Badlands guys, something always has to go down. So I'm glad Darren Muji's cooking. Now it's my turn to go into the kitchen and cook. I have to make this steak dinner for myself. So I appreciate you always having me on. Wednesdays are one of my favorite days of the week. I look forward to it every time. The chat, A1 since day one. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for my film breakdown of Justin Fields and the starting offense. It's not all 19 plays, but it's about 10 or 12 of the offensive plays. So I'm really excited for that. And then next week, we hit the threshold, Jake. YouTube Studio has to catch up. They're 4 days behind, but we hit 3,000 watch hours. So next week, all live shows will include gift membership abilities and super chat availabilities. I'm super pumped. You guys are awesome for making this the easiest 100 days on YouTube. It felt like it came and went, and you guys are awesome. All my subscribers, all the viewership. It's truly so appreciated. I can't even put it into words.
If you check out the live chat, you'll notice the link to subscribe to Dylan's channel directly. So we got like 600 people in here live because there's breaking news. That's awesome. So go subscribe to Dylan. And if you missed his instant analysis of the trades, rewind. But I'm going to stay on, get to the remainder of the calls. Dylan, enjoy your steak, man. Thanks as always for your time.
I appreciate it, Jake. Try not to lose all your money gambling, and careful with the red tongue. It'll get you.
The red tongue definitely got me.
I have
no regrets. Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan Tereman with us. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let me get caught up on the super chats. I want to get to your calls. I also have some audio or video of Connor Hughes. He gave a little recap of today, some final thoughts on training camp. So I want to play that, then get to your calls. The big news, the Jets, they've added 2 defensive tackles today. To quote one of our favorites, to quote Neil, 2 big fatties, including Harrison Phillips, who is a legit defensive run stuffer, right? PFF had him rated very high. Nate Prentice's Nate, who loves PFF, is sending me stuff. In 2019, he was the 10th DT in the league. 2021, he was 14th. He's been a really good player, good leader. Love it. All right, couple super chats here. Let's see. First things first, Diggy Smalls is in our raffle. If you tuned in late, which I'm sure a lot of you did because there's breaking news, end of the stream, I'm giving away in honor of me being in Vegas, dealer's choice. You choose which Jet jersey you want to win. Jermaine jersey, Sauce jersey, Garrett jersey, Fields jersey, end of the stream. If you don't win, you're automatically entered in next week's raffle to win one of the 3 weekly prizes. Signed Joe Namath jersey, signed Kevin Mawai jersey, and a signed photo by Klecko and Lyons from the New York Sack Exchange. Diggy Smalls, you're in for 1. Chef Jet fan says Gillette Stadium as Maniac Takeover. If that game's relevant later in the year, maybe I'd go to New England. Maybe. Craig, In Australia, 19-month super chat says some suggestions for Gary's new alliance. Suffragette Syndicate, Feminist Fraternity, I'm on a new laptop, so my screen is small here. I got to squint. Lunar League, love you, Gary, mate. Oh, my God. Craig, you're the man. I'm going to go rapid fire here. Big fella. So with the DT additions, who's cut, we covered that. Thank you, big fella. Dylan, this is before I saw you wrote that. Dylan gave you his cut projections. Mr. Flowers says, just because I won yesterday. That's right, Mr. Flowers. You did win a prize yesterday. Congratulations. You are in the Maniac raffle for 5 at the end of the show. Mike Perez is in for 2. He says, not a Jets GM actually solving issues with the team. It's almost like we're an actual NFL team this year. Great job, Mooch. Joe Douglas wasn't proactive enough at times. I don't need to remind people about the backup quarterback situation going into the 2023 season. The only time I thought Joe Douglas was proactive after they lost Breece Hall for the year in AVT against the Broncos in 2022, he did acquire James Robinson. Now, he ultimately wasn't any good, but that at least showed the locker room, hey, we're not punting on the year just because we lost Breece and AVT, who were probably the 2 most valuable players on the offense that year. Nick Shine in the house, much like Mr. Bonesy 20 years ago in the clubs, Muji said, give me all the fatties. Oh, my goodness. Hey, now. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shine. All right. I want to get to your calls. I also want to make sure that we cover all angles of this trade. The details of it are still coming in, but a legit defensive tackle has been added. And I think just my initial read, the DTs that are definitely on this team week 1, Quinnen, Harrison Phillips, Byron Cowart, Jay Tafili, and the guy they acquired today from Cleveland, Jawan Briggs. I think we're looking at probably, 4 guys for 1 spot if they keep a 6 DT, which I think they will. Leonard Taylor, Peyton Page, who's a UDFA, Fedarian Mathis, Derek Nandi, I don't think is on this team, but he's a veteran with a name, so maybe. I mean, people who have been at Jets camp will tell you that Leonard Taylor's probably had the best camp of those guys that I think are kind of on the bubble, for what it's worth. All right, you guys are on hold. I want to get to you. I'm in Vegas. Keep gifting your memberships. We're going to come back, and we're going to get to your calls as we react to the New York Jets making moves in August. Harrison Phillips, the latest big move, and this is a legit move that they have made. Here's Connor Hughes of SNY with a report from training camp earlier today.
Walking off the final day of Jets training camp, I just did the math actually back here in the media room. This is the 12th training camp that I've covered. First one was Odell Beckham Jr.'s rookie year in 2014 with the Giants. And this most recent one, Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, and the Jets. Rain-soaked day, as you can tell here, steady rain throughout, so not really a pretty one for the Jets. I think Fields was 10 of 23 passing, pair of interceptions, 1 touchdown, a couple strip sacks actually by Jermaine Johnson getting in there, Tony Adams getting in there. Not too much to make of that, though, because of the conditions. You know me, I have no problem sounding alarms. There are no alarms sounded by me this afternoon. Overall, though, big picture takeaway here from the Jets summer. This team's going to have an identity, and that identity this season is going to be to run the you-know-what out of the ball. You are going to see a ton of Justin Fields running it, a ton of Braylon Allen running it, a ton of Breece Hall running it. That's what the Jets want their identity to be. They understand their limitations through the air. I said those numbers today by Fields aren't alarming because of the conditions, but throughout training camp, he struggled when he had to stretch the field down the field or stretch the ball down the field. It was something that came up time and time again here in training camp, and I don't expect that to magically get fixed when the regular season comes around, but the Jets know that. They're not ignorant to that. Darren Muji saw all of these practices. Tanner Engstrand saw all these practices. Aaron Glenn saw all of these practices. So while they might sound fine and confident atop a podium, they know what their limitations are on offense, and that's throwing the ball. But they also know what they can do on offense, and that is run it, and you're going to see that time and time again. Defensively, I think they're going to be ferocious. I think they're going to attack, and I think you're going to see them be a bit more of ball hawks than they were in years past. So that's it here from Jets training camp. Like I said, another one in the books. Let's go. Regular season time. Looking forward to that. Walking off the final day of Jets training camp, I just did the math actually.
Hey, we don't want to hear that twice. Once is more than enough. Good stuff there from Connor Hughes. One thing I was thinking about here as I'm reading more about the trade is I think Cowart's making the team, right? But what if we don't know how serious his injury is? He's been out now for a couple weeks, right? Quinnen's already returned to practice. Coward still is not out there. Maybe he's a short-term IR candidate, and that's why they added not one but two. I think Phillips starts next to Quinnen right away. I think perhaps the reason why they added another DT today in Briggs is because maybe Coward's not healthy for week one. Maybe he's a short-term IR guy, right? So that's one thing to consider as well. But, I mean, Harrison Phillips is a good football player. 62 career starts, only 29. Contract is very affordable. You can get out of it after this year for no cost. It's not guaranteed. Minnesota's paying half the money anyway. Let's see how many defensive tackles they keep. Are they keeping 4? Are they keeping 5? But Briggs is on this team. We know that. Quinnen is on this team. Phillips is on this team. Is Tefili on this team? I think he is on this team. I think Coward is on this team pending him being healthy. Is he healthy? That's the unknown. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking. Real Jets news. How about that? It's always when I travel, I'm telling you. To your calls we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you know this guy loves himself big fatties because that's all he talks about when he calls in. No, I'm not talking about Mr. Bonesy. I'm talking about Neil. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you're doing and sing along.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Jake, my brother.
A big fatty, Neil. Not one, but two. It's Christmas for you.
Just gained 600 pounds those last 2 days. I love the weight gain. You want to be the fattest team on the scale when you go on the scale. That's a big part of the winning. I like it. Like it a lot. Let's get a little Joe Beningo Muji.
I don't have that drop handy. Dude, Joe calls him like Muhe too. He has like no idea how to say it.
Muhi.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a little work. I'm starting to get back in. I'm starting to have my training camp here for the 2025 season. And I thought about Justin Fields and what the offense could do with him based on him having an above, one of his better seasons, if not his best season. I think he's going to have his best season simply because we have the offensive line that could block. We have better weapons. We have a better running game than what he had in Chicago, probably Pittsburgh as well. So, and really, he's going to have the coaching, and the surprise element of a new offensive coordinator, which nobody's going to have figured out, at least for the first 4 or 5 games. Our predictability is going to be, unknown to anybody that's going to defend against us. So that all is to our advantage, not disadvantage. And I thought about, Kyle Murray as a comparison. Who would you say, Jake, that you think he is the most? I think of Michael Vick. I mean, Michael Vick, I looked his stats up. He only had 1,000-yard rushing season, and he threw for about 2,500 yards on average. Who would you compare Fields to in the current NFL rosters? Is Murray a good comparison, do you think?
Murray, I think, is a more established passer than Fields is at this point. I think Kyle Murray's proven to be a better quarterback. I mean, Fields, to me, he's a lot like what Jalen Hurts was in 2021 before he just kept getting better and better and producing as a passer. Like, I think he's still very raw there. I don't know if he could put it together like Hurts did or Lamar did, but I think there's a path for him to get better than he's been. He has improved year over year with accuracy, completion percentage, eye test. His strength's running, though, Neil. They're going to run him and run him a lot, and they're going to have a lot of RPOs, and they're going to have a lot of quarterback keepers. They're going to have a lot of play action, and he might just take it himself off the play action. Like, We're the New York Jets. Can we have a lot of jet sweeps this year? Like, they're going to have to be a creative offense with how they scheme up different running plays.
And the one thing, you got to really give him the advantage of over a Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is the fact that when we get down to the red zone, when we're in that inside the 5-yard line type scenario, he's going to take it in. Kyler Murray's not a power guy. He's going to get smashed if he tries to get to the goal line by most defenses. Where this guy is evasive, he could push the pile. I heard our OC today talk about the tush push, and he kind of hinted at the fact that we may not be doing a tush push, but we're certainly going to have a lot of QB sneaks when we get inside the 1 or 2 yard line, where he might go off tackle or off guard rather, and moving around inside rather than a straight tush push. Maybe you get a fullback behind him. He takes the snap and just the guy follows him and pushes him through or something like. We're going to see a lot of creativity, and I'm excited about that. I think we're going to score a lot of touchdowns. I think he's going to score, 8 to 10 touchdowns on the ground, which will more than compensate for the fact that maybe he'll only throw for 10 or 12, 15, something like that.
Which will be,
if he throws for 15 and scores 8, there's 23, 24 touchdowns, and we're in good shape. And then, you got to rely on the rest of the team, the other running backs, to score touchdowns as well, and we should be fine. But certainly this is a great add-on. What do you think about, are they going to really look at adding a receiver? What do you think about that?
Reports are they're trying to, and I have more confidence in them actually doing it now after what they did today. It shows me that they maybe have some self-awareness, self-scouting ability of their own team. Like, they went in the camp, they tried to see if someone would step up. No one really has established themselves as a legit number 2. So let's add to the room. Could be on waiver wire, could be on trades. Let's see. But the moves that Muji made today, I think, are just overwhelmingly positives, and it's the sign of a good one.
Yeah. What about Buffalo? BJF mentioned a couple of receivers today. I forgot who he mentioned. We're not going to get the big names, obviously, and that's going to create, nobody that's going to want an extension. But there's a couple names out there that really can improve the room. I forgot who he mentioned, but there's definitely an opportunity to get. Look, any number 2 receiver for us, if it's Justin Fields' history, the biggest beneficiary on the passing game is going to be the tight end. His tight end is going to have 600 to 800 yards, where the second receiver really is not going to be a 1,000-yard guy, Jake. Isn't that pretty much an assumption? A second receiver for us is not going to get 800 to 1,000 yards. It's just
but a second receiver has to be able to at least win a one-on-one matchup and
right.
Be able to make you pay on a deep shot downfield, winning a one-on-one if Garrett Wilson's doubled. Like, at some point, you're going to need to throw. You're not going to be able to run your way to 11 or 12 wins, right? Like, even 8 or 9. Like, you're going to need your quarterback to make plays, so let's help Fields have guys that can win one-on-one besides Garrett.
Plus a guy that's like, I know who he mentioned, who I really liked. Who was the the Raider guy, that slot guy, that Myers? What's his name?
Jacoby Myers.
Was on the Patriots that went to the Raiders.
Jacoby Myers.
I like him. Myers is a good guy. He's not going to break the top off, but we have a guy that could break the top off. He's a guy that on third down, boy, he could really get open. He's a possession receiver. He doesn't drop the ball. Myers would be a good guy, and I hear he might be available.
I'd take him. That
would be. He's definitely better than every number 2 we have right now on the roster.
Unfortunately, Neil, that is not saying much, which is why hopefully Muji makes a move.
These goddamn exploding cigars. Gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
I love it. 2 big fatties for Neil. It's like Christmas. Rex Ryan's in the house. He loves big fatties. Wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings are in the market for Trey Hendrickson after that trade. That's a good thought, but Hendrickson's an edge, no? The guy had 20 sacks last year, basically. He's an edge. Maybe they needed to clear the salary, though, to add him. Interesting. All right, more of your calls here. Let's try and get a lot of people in because a lot of people want to opine on the moves that the Jets have made today and perhaps future moves that could be coming. The Jets might not be done. In fact, after what they did today, filling a major need, I think it gives you some confidence that Muji's not going to stop until he does something to that wide receiver room.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Hey, easy Thomas, you know it's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Hey, how's it going, Jake?
Ricky!
And once again, thank you for my tab yesterday. I took care of that before the show even started.
I saw it. You're all good, Ricky. Yeah, hopefully you win a weekly prize.
Right on. Speaking of Florida State, you know, Jermaine Johnson comes back to practice and he's getting sacks right and left. And meanwhile, Anthony Richardson gets benched for Danny Dimes. So no further proof needed that Florida State is the best Florida program. I like the fact that we added a couple of defensive tackles. I was actually going to say when you took my call, I was actually going to say I hope that signing these two defensive tackles isn't an indicator that Coward's injury is maybe worse than we thought. But you beat me to it. You got to it before I could even say it. So you know. But by the way, earlier I was actually talking about you to some people, and I was talking. I had mentioned to JT the Brick that you were out in Vegas right now, and suggested that maybe the two of you guys link up. Yeah. Also, I've got a couple of friends out in Vegas. If you're looking for a night spot to go and hang out, I've got a couple of friends that work at the Spearmint Rhino. So that might be something you want to check out.
Ricky, I appreciate it. Family show. I don't go to strip clubs, or do I? Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Curly Norman with a super chat. Gonna get right back to your calls here. Not doing my negative shtick. Was at training camp today. Seriously, Fields looks like a guy who still can't pass consistently. Hope he improves. Smell the six wins. Well, that's probably why. More likely than not, that's where they end up win-wise, 6 or 7. That's where I'm at right now. He's got to be better as a passer. They also have to put him in a position where there's guys being schemed open, or they add another weapon that could help, someone get open. But you could have all the weapons in the world. Garrett Wilson was open on that slant on Saturday. Fields missed him, right? That happens. So he needs to just be better in general. I think he will be fine most weeks, but there'll be moments where you need more from your quarterback. If you can't run the ball, how is he going to respond to that? I mean, there's good days for Fields. There's bad days. In training camp, he's not going to use his legs and run around a ton. It's not what it's designed to be. He's not going to do that in the preseason either and take unnecessary hits. The regular season, he will. Neil, who just gave us a call, now a super chat in the raffle for 2. Get me a video of you and Parles at a gentleman's club. Say hello to for me. I can't get you a video of that, Neil, but I can tell you that Jeff Parles will be on the show tomorrow afternoon, I believe 3:30 Eastern time. I'll be live with Jeff. So I know you guys have been asking for Jeff. He's going to join us every week on the show again, and we'll kick it off with him tomorrow in his hometown. Jeff lives out here, of course, in Vegas for work. Let's see. More calls now, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline next to get his thoughts on the trades is none other than Kyle Clifton.
I'm laughing at all these fortune tellers in the chat saying inside, inside. Like if you're in New York today, you know everybody's inside.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm glad that I am not in New York today, based on what I've heard about the weather.
This is exactly why you keep your powder dry, right? Like they had all this cap room. I think going into today, they had 4 6-round picks, and they burnt through 2 of them today with these 2 defensive tackle ads. But it makes sense, right? Like these are the kind of guys that kind of fit the model, right? Like with Phillips only being 29 and signed for the next 2 years, and obviously they like the guy from the Browns. I don't know if there's still a trade out there for an offensive player. I think that they're going to be judicious about on cut down day and see if they might be able to add someone to either the wide receiver room or tight end room to help the offense. The former best strip club in Vegas was Olympic Gardens. It's now the Peppermint Hippo, I believe.
Oh, I've heard. I think I know what you're talking about. I heard of that one.
Yes. I spent a couple of hours there talking to a young Cajun lady. She was very charming. But yeah,
I'm happy to hear that.
Yes. Yeah, that's just a point of interest there. Do you have dinner plans?
I do. I'm going to Carbone tonight for dinner.
Oh, look at you.
I know. It's good to know people out here. Shout out to my buddy Chris, who's probably watching the show right now, diehard Jet fan. He has the connect, so going with him and some friends tonight.
We spent a lot of time at the Wynn. We were out there for the Raiders, so enjoy.
Is it the Wynn or the Aria Carbone?
I thought it was the Wynn.
I got to check that. Either
we
way,
were in the Wynn. The people who we were with were eating at Carbone because they were out there on business and they were living large. So
I love it. It's all the same to me. The Wynn.
Yes.
The Aria.
Enjoy, Jake. Bye.
Kyle, great call as always. And next time you call in, I'd love to hear more about the lovely lady of the night that you connected with all those years ago. Unless that lady that you connected with is actually now Mrs. Clifton, which I don't know. I'd probably going to assume it's not. All right, for those tuning in late, Jets have made not 1 but 2 trades today, and they're apparently looking for more. They're trying to acquire a wide receiver. That was the report this morning on the plane, and I'm thinking, here we go. There's going to be a trade. No trade, but then we land, trade. They acquired Jawan Briggs from the Browns. Now we're doing this show. Breaking news, boom, they acquire Harrison Phillips from the Vikings. I mean, Phillips is a real pest. I remember him with the Bills for all those years. Right, he was with Buffalo for the first 4 years of his career. He's been with the Vikings the last 3. The guy's a good player. A real good player. I just got a text from Frankie V. Want a Frankie V call. I am 1,000% on this. Look, the chat might not want a Frankie V call, but I like controversy. Frankie, I want a Frankie V call. In the meantime, we'll get to everyone else on hold. Spencer Green says, what the hell did I hear? Rumor has it the Beast Alliance has been named Burger Boys. Whoa. Beast, is this true? Uh-oh, is he napping again? Beast. I think he is. All right, to those of you who have children around, lower your volumes. To those of you wearing headphones, lower your volumes. There's only one thing I could do to wake the beast up. Sound the mother effing alarm. Wake up, beast.
I meant the captain was trying to catch us on some sleep.
Hey, what are you doing?
Next time I jump like that, I will have a police badge on me ready to go.
Why are you sleeping? The Jets just acquired a big fatty beast.
I heard. I like this nice guy. 307 pounds. Skull crushing, annihilating, Now, time, as Terry Silver once said, now, welcome to the school of hard knocks. We're going to see some crushing, we're going to see some dicing, and we're going to see some heads getting busted wide open.
I don't think you're going to do anything. You're sleeping right now.
It's time. Well, get ready, because in the next 29 minutes, I'm going to be watching some TBS action. Get ready to party, if you know.
All right, Beast. We'll see you later, man. You go back to your slumber. Ladies and gentlemen, do we not have the greatest of listeners? A 50 spot from one of the leaders of the 4.5% female demographic, Genergy, in the house. Let's go.
We are mama way.
Genergy, I got you down in our raffle for 10. Thank you, as always, for your support. Great to see you at our watch party on Saturday. You and Cynthia holding it down for the 4%ers. Move over, JD. We're making Muji moves now. Now let's get a legit wide receiver, too. Let's go. I've been pretty lucky / blessed in the raffle, so if I win, I want to give my prize to, well, a deserving member of our 4.5% Baddies Club. I like it. Forget money moves. We're making Muji moves.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Woo, woo.
All right, back to regularly scheduled programming with your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, up next on the Gustbuster Hotline is none other than David T.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hello, Jake.
Hello, David.
Well, you know what? I'm not embarrassed about this, but as far as the gentlemen's clubs go, up in Pennsylvania, in my own neighborhood, we had one of the best on the East Coast. And, I used to go. As a matter of fact, it was mentioned once or twice on the Howard Stern show. And I think, boy, I wonder if he was down there in disguise. Well, probably. But anyway, as far as Justin Fields goes, boy, you know what, Jake? I'm getting to a point where, my dad used to say you don't change the stripes on a zebra. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to develop for reading defenses and the passing game. But, I think the Jets can do the 8-9 season. But, you got Brady Cook coming up and maybe the draft for a quarterback next year. All that being said, I'm still rooting for Justin Fields. And I'm so excited about the season, though. Aaron Glenn and the whole coaching staff, my itinerary, going up to Pennsylvania. First week of September, my buddy and I are going to go over and watch the Jets Steelers. And I'm going to come back here for a couple weeks and then going over to the Tampa game. And Jake, I don't know who put this all together, but I'm going to be able to swing it. I just put my $500 down on the cruise.
Wow, that's awesome, David. So you made your initial deposit.
I did.
Love it. Be like David T. Come on the cruise with me, David T., Fireman Ed, Marty Lyons, Leon Washington, Bilal Powell, Kevin Mawai. I'm doing those all from memory now. Sean Ellis, Chris Ivory. I might have repeated a player or two there, but it's going to be awesome. That's awesome, David. I'm glad that you're locked in. I think it's going to be a great time with you and all the other listeners who will be a part of this thing.
Yeah, you know what, Jake? I don't want to hold you on long, but I always wanted to do a cruise when I retired. I wanted to do the Alaska thing, but I wasn't all on board flying across the country and all that kind of stuff. Never been on a cruise. So it's going to kill a couple of birds with, one stone. And the cruise thing, and of course the whole jet thing. I'm really pumped up about it.
Love it. David, you're the man, and that's great news that you signed up, my friend. Can't wait.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Love it. Just a reset for those just tuning in. Jets in acquiring Harrison Phillips. They traded away 2 6th-round picks, and they got back a 7th-round pick with the deal. This guy is a good football player. Outstanding against the run, good leader, fits perfectly to what they needed next to Quinnen. In the deal, the Jets were also able to get Minnesota to pay $3.7 million of the $7.4 million salary. So the Jets get a defensive tackle and some savings. That tweet there from Adam Schefter. And then Antoine Staley, he ran the numbers, and he says that the Phillips salary this year, which is not actually $7 million because we know Minnesota is paying part of it, the salary for next year, $6.89 million, is not guaranteed, meaning they could cut him. They could release him. It's great news. If he's not any good or he's washed, whatever. But I think this is truly an outstanding signing by the Jets. Outstanding trade, I should say. I really believe that. Hit the like button. Make sure you send in a super chat that qualifies or a gifted membership. Dealer's choice in honor of me broadcasting the show from Circa Las Vegas the next few days. You choose the jersey you want to win. Fields, Wilson, Gardner, JJ. All right. One last call before we say hello to our special guest who's nice enough to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello right now to a guy whose wife is quickly emerging as one of the more beloved Asmaniacs in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike and maybe his wife.
Purple Belt wife, she's the Dark Knight. She has a lazy husband who forgets to clean potatoes. Maybe someday she'll get some help, but for now she's just a Purple Belt wife. Purple Belt wife, she might not be purple, but she can kick her husband's ass.
Yo,
PBM.
what up? No PBW right now.
No? Well, that's a shame.
Yeah. So I would love Alec Pierce, but why would the Colts trade him? Their wide receiver room isn't like great. He's their wide receiver too.
Because they might not be able to pay him. There was some speculation, and now with Daniel Jones, they might not be able to get him the ball. I don't know. I just say his name was kind of surfacing around as a guy that could be moved.
Yeah, I don't know how real that is looking at their depth chart. I would love him to be our wide receiver too, but I just don't see it. With the Packers, you can definitely see Dobbs going because it's so crowded with the wide receiver room, so we can see that happening. But Alec Pierce, pipe dream, even though I want him. I think that would be a pipe dream.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I didn't have Harrison Phillips being traded today on my bingo card, so maybe there's
me either.
That version of a receiver none of us are thinking of that's out there.
I was complaining all summer about not getting fatties, and now we got a couple good ones. So I guess they did some evaluation, and they're like, yeah, we definitely can't stop the run, so this is how we're going to do it.
The tape from Saturday, if you watch it back,
it's terrible.
It was they were horrendous against the run. I think that was the
terrible.
last straw.
Yeah, so I think they're going to realize, because we had, even when the defense was good, and we were 7-10 with Salah, our run defense wasn't very good. And teams are running on us, and we lost games because of that. So I think that they saw that, and they're like, you know what, we can't risk it. Let's get some more bodies in there and get better. So I hope that they can do the same thing at tight end and hopefully receiver. But
100%. Tell Maui your dog we say hello, all right?
Yeah, Maui wants a treat, so she's crying at me.
Oh, go get her a treat.
Yeah, I got to get up then, so I'll wait till I'm done with the call.
Is it because you can't actually get up because you tore your ACL?
Well, I can, but then if I got the phone focused or whatever, I don't want to lock my knee out and whatever. I got to be careful with it, so.
All right. Well, Mike, great call, and keep up the great work.
Let's go Jets, baby. Only 2 more weeks. Fuck the Patriots.
Purple Belt Mike, he loves the Dark Knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that Purple Belt Mike. Purple Belt Mike, he might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Tanky V has arrived. What's up, Frankie?
Guys, I am here and I am not going to be positive right now. I have a lot to say. By the way, Jake, you're in Circa. You're in Las Vegas. You just lived the life, man.
Vegas, baby. I come here every year for contest weekend. I have all. I even have Circa coasters right here, and what's left of my very expensive pool drink that I had earlier. That's why my tongue is red, by the way. So excuse my tongue.
Oh no, I respect it. I think the first time I met you was at Circa. By the way, Circa's awesome. Circa.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah, Super Bowl week. You're right.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time.
What aren't you positive about? You don't like the move for the DTs they got today?
No, I like the DTs. I like them all. I'm totally good with it. That one kid can rep 50 times 225. So I'm all about him. We need some defensive tackle depth. You saw that first couple drives with the Giants. And I thought our defensive line didn't play too bad in that game, by the way. If you look at the rushing yards per attempt the Giants had. Problem with the Giants is they had 398 passing yards against us, which is, a bit of an issue, but it's preseason. Leave it. But what I want to come to you, Jake, is with this. And I'm going to stand on this, and everyone should listen to me on this. Ready? Jake, you've said, and other people have said, Breece Hall is going to be the second most productive pass catcher with the Jets this year.
I think he can be. I think some weeks he will be. Like if I had to pick for the season, it's tough. I mean, I guess narrowly I might lean with Mason Taylor, but I think some weeks Breece might be their most he might be their leading receiver a lot of weeks, is my point. Like he's going to be very involved in the passing attack.
Yeah, the issue is this though. Justin Fields traditionally, this includes Ohio State, and it's happened in the NFL. He does not know how to go through his read progressions and get the ball to his running backs. The best quarterbacks that utilize their running backs or running backs that get the most output come from quarterbacks that go to their third and fourth read, their dump offs, guys in the flats. They know how to throw a screen. Fields, if they scheme him up, Breece to get him out there, yeah, Breece will do some things. It's not a naturally occurring thing, though. That's the issue. Justin Fields is going to go to freaking Garrett. He's going to go to Mason Taylor or whatever Engstrand's trying to do. And I loved all the pre-motion stuff, misdirection. Get the middle of the field wide open so that you can target guys like Beck, other tight ends, and other players, right? Breece Hall, I'm telling you now, is not going to benefit as much as people think. I don't know if he could play out as a receiver. We don't. How many running backs have split out wide, Jake, since you've watched football and have been effective receivers?
McCaffrey does it.
As a receiver necessarily?
Aaron Sproles did it. Like, there's guys that have done it. I think that's their plan for Breece. There's been like moments of practice where we've seen them like actually have them in the slot where they're like trying to get like a third corner on
Jake, they don't play in the slot that much though. They don't.
They're going to this year. They're going to use them.
I mean, we might be one of the first teams to really benefit doing that. Like, Jake, I'm telling you, if you go throughout NFL history, I'm not trying to be like negative.
But do you think Breece is not going to be a focal point of the passing attack? Like, what's your point? Okay, maybe he's not their second leading receiver, but you don't think he's going to be heavily involved in what they're doing offensively?
I think he's going to be heavily involved in what they're doing offensively on the ground. I think that zone read, that read option, if we all think Breece Hall is going to come here and do things like LaDainian Tomlinson did in then San Diego and be like this like premier pass catching back here with Fields that can barely get off his first read and effectively like go through his reads and dump off to a running back, we're mistaken. And I'm not 99% on that. I'm literally 100% on that. I'm just saying Tanner might scheme him up and might get him going. But let's not get it like crazy here that Breece is going to come here and have, this year and have 85 catches and 1,000 yards receiving. Jake, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. Justin Fields has 3 passing touchdowns in his entire NFL career to running backs. 3.
It's a different staff, though. The whole point is that they're going to have we're going to let him play quarterback. We're going to I think it's going to be different than what they're asking him to do than what he's been asked to do in his career.
Yeah, but is he yes, of course. But the thing is, defenses know that you're going to be trying to scheme up your running back, right? Breece Hall, your second best offensive player, maybe your best offensive player. They're not just going to casually allow it to happen. It's got to be schemed up. The volume is not going to be there, is my whole point, which doesn't mean the offense will be bad. Jake, I think, do you want to know my opinion? I think if we come out and we run a heavy zone read option offense, not RPO. RPO means you throw in some RPO. RPO means run or pass option. Run to the running back or you're throwing it. If the safety rolls up, you dump it over. If the safeties or linebackers are going back, you throw it underneath. The quarterback doesn't have really the threat of running in an RPO. So when we say RPO, we have to understand what we're talking about. RPO does not give the quarterback much of a threat to run. That's not what an RPO is. So, but I think they could throw that in there a little bit. All I'm saying is this.
Why are you so bothered by this? I don't understand. You just said you think Breece is going to be...
Because everyone's talking about Breece Hall's going to, be the second highest pass catcher on the Jets and all.
I mean, he was literally 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was.
Yeah, with Zach Wilson that dumped off like crazy because he couldn't read a defense,
right?
Or they had no offensive coordinator to do anything.
Fields
so he's just
could check.
He was targeted 95 times.
I still think that could happen, though. He could be the second option in a progression too, and get a bunch of target. No running back over the last 2 years has more receiving yards than Breece Hall. Fields himself has commented that throwing to Breece is like throwing to a receiver. He's like impressed how good his hands are for a running back.
Sorry, but you understand when that Zach Wilson year happened, I think Breece had 76 catches, had 95 targets. That was by default because the offensive coordinator had no idea how to scheme anyone open, and that was just by default that Zach had to just go to Breece last minute and just give him dump-offs, of which Breece was able to take it and do things in space, which is what Breece does best. But I'm saying temper your expectations when it comes to Breece Hall with Justin Fields, Breece Hall having a big receiving year. And I'm not trying to be negative.
Is he going to have a good year overall? Isn't that all that matters?
I think on the ground he could.
That's the point, though. That is the point.
But everyone's saying like Breece Hall, Jake's going to have, people are like, oh, he's going to have 1,000 yards receiving. 800. No, he's not. There is no shot that happens with Justin.
Could he not have 700 yards receiving? I think he can.
No way. No shot. Zero. How many yards is Justin Fields going to throw for? Justin Fields throws for 2,800 yards. Jalen Hurts threw for 2,900 yards.
Frankie, they don't have anyone else though. That's the whole thing. They have Garrett. They have Mason Taylor. They have Breece.
They have the other wide receivers by default are going to get.
They're not
yards.
good though.
I know they're not good.
Of Breece being lined up as a receiver, not out of the backfield, lined up.
Jake, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You don't put a running back like Breece Hall and expect him to just be out wide and be able to run routes with Justin Fields. It's not going to happen like that. I'm telling you. It's
Who
just
cares?
not.
Can they win games? Who cares?
No, they can win games. Jake, you know what I would do? I would run the football to death. I'd run it 75%.
That's what they're
of the
doing.
time.
That's
but how is Breece Hall, if you're running it to death, going to have 700 receiving yards?
Well,
Where's the give or take?
Frankie, it's just a number. I don't care. I don't play I'm not betting his yards total on FanDuel. It doesn't bother me. I'm a Jet fan. I want them to win. I think Breece Hall is going to be valuable as both a pass catcher in this offense and as a runner. That's the only point I've ever made on Breece Hall. I can't tell you what his stats are. I can look up the numbers and say no running back in football the last 2 years has more receiving yards. I think he's going to be involved there. Maybe he has 697 receiving yards. Who cares? If they're winning games, that's all that matters.
Of course. I'm just telling you to temper your expectations when it comes to Breece Hall in the receiving department. I see a lot of Jets content creators, a lot of
This
Jets
was
fans
where the
thinking
call
Breece
you
Hall,
called in about Breece's receiving yards. I thought when you texted me you wanted to talk about the trades or whatever. Not Breece Hall's stats.
No, I wanted. Listen, I just want to temper some expectations because I don't want. And listen, this goes to Breece Hall. I don't want Jet fans to be disappointed come week 6 or 7 if Breece Hall isn't lighting it up in the passing game, thinking like he's the problem. I think Breece Hall is part of a potential solution here, and you know how much I love Braylon Allen. I think Breece is that valuable to any offense in the NFL.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella writes in, are we not allowed to be happy about our trade? Because that's what we're talking about. Goodbye, Frankie. Enjoy Carbone Jake.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Now, Frankie left, so I can't even do what I wanted to do, which was go to him and talk to him from the hole. Can't even do it. Sad. Big fella, the chat thanks you for your service. Look, Frankie might have like fair points about what the offense looks like, but we don't need to pretend. Hold on, I'm not putting myself in the hole. We don't have to pretend that Breece is not going to be heavily involved as a passer, but also who cares? Why are we talking about this right now? Doesn't matter. Breece is going to be involved. We know Breece is going to be involved. We know they're not trading Breece. We know Breece has led the NFL at his position in receiving yards. He's going to be used a lot. Why is he so angry over that? I don't know. Why is he so mad over that? Who cares? I love you, Frankie. What do we? I think we're going to see a lot of Braylon Allen. We're going to have a lot of Braylon, Breece, Isaiah Davis, Fields. Fields is going to basically replicate some of the production that would go to a number 2 wide receiver because most teams in the league don't have a quarterback who's capable of having 800 rushing yards. Fields has had 1,100 rushing yards in a season. Most quarterbacks in the league don't sniff that. Right? Like that's part of the equation as well. I don't know what the stats are. I'm not a numbers guy. I don't play fantasy football at a high level, right? I'm not doing the projections. I'm just telling you, Breece is going to be heavily involved as both a runner and passer. Dylan Tereman, Jets trade for 2 DTs, Frankie V, but Breece Hall. Oh man, that was a wild call from Frank. All right, no one's on the line now. Everyone cleared out. Anyone else have any final thoughts on the trades? Also, I guess, Ralphie, you missed when I told the story multiple times now about your daughter wearing the Beck jersey. You won the Revis jersey. I said it on this show, the last show, the previous show. Make sure your daughter doesn't wear the signed Revis jersey. And how about that for door-to-door service? You won that thing yesterday. You already got it today. You find me someone that gets people their prizes as fast as I do it. If I have them. The jerseys are out of my control. I got to order them. But if you want a signed thing and I actually have possession of it, I'll send it to you as quickly as I can. Sometimes I order things directly from the memorabilia site if I win like an auction, a bidding. So it all depends. But I try to get them out as quickly as possible. Better go on the wall, Ralphie. That's right. I see you acknowledge that. Tom Hayes, Frankie 4 wins. Genergy, he's just jealous that Jake's living it up in Vegas. Well, big fella, thanks for helping pay for tonight's dinner. That's for sure. Appreciate that. Reminder, we are doing a new feature on the show. I want to make sure people are aware of this. I think it's going to be quite funny. So this show's available, as you guys know, as a podcast, right? You can find it on either Apple or Spotify. One of the things they let you do is leave a review, right? So leave a 5-star review, and they let you actually like write a review, like a movie review or a TV show review, whatever. You can leave a podcast review for those of you who have never heard of podcasting before. So here's what you do. You go on either Apple or Spotify, and you leave a review. You would go into settings. When you click on, I'll show you guys the example on like Spotify. When you go on like Spotify, like I have here for the show, you hit the 3 dots button. That's over there, right? See the 3 dots on the right side? Hit the 3 dots, and then down there, it comes up, rate the show. You hit rate show. Obviously, you give it 5 stars. And it will let you even leave an actual review. Now, on Apple, it definitely does. Spotify, I've never done it before, so I got to look into that. But you could leave reviews on Apple. And I have been trying to get people to leave funny reviews so we could read them on the show, because I think that will be absolutely hilarious. Like this one from Agent ML 22. 5 stars. This show is really for everyone. If you want expert opinions on the Jets, the first hour or so has that. If you want a social experiment where you try to find people jobs who don't want to work, stop people from being catfished, learn how to cast spells like the legendary Abracadoodle from Hogwarts, then this is your show. Laughs and football. What's better than that? That's what we're looking for. I'm trying to find the funny ones. But 5-star review. That's what we want. Best Jet show. Hell yeah. Thank you, Jetaholic. You left that on March 26th. And I'll read the funniest ones on the air. MC says, go get drunk and get into... Yeah. Well, okay, maybe. I am doing an 8 a.m. show tomorrow because I'm nuts. That's how much I love you guys. I'm having O'Leary on at 8 a.m. my time, so 11 a.m. Eastern. And then Jet Parles at 3:30 Eastern, I think. Check the Discord for updates, everyone. I'm getting set here to do the raffle, though. I think we might be ready for that. We're 2 hours and 20 minutes in. I have a dinner reservation in like an hour, so that works for me. Here's what we're going to do right now. One, we're going to play this because we all need a good laugh.
Gator, I'm scared to see what this is.
I'm Rishi Stickers. Kiddies love my stickers. Jets Media subscribers all want my stickers. Here's my kick-ass sticker. Now leave me the hell alone, bitches.
I'm becoming the sticker guy. Oh my god. We got a banger sent over from Gator. I am strapped up with stickers. If anybody comes up to me, you get a sticker. I didn't know it was becoming a thing, though.
I'm Rishi Stickers.
Does anybody watching this have a sticker that I gave them in person?
Oh, yeah. By the way, if you missed Richie versus J Quest yesterday on the show, oh, that was something. Omar is in the Asmaniac raffle for one. Hell yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I am putting together the names. Omar, good luck. You are most likely the last person that's going to be able to enter here. Now, bear with me, guys. I am on a brand new laptop, so putting the names together is not as easy as it is when I'm home. I wanted to read the super chat from Big T Charlie that I missed here, so let me get to that before we get to the raffle. Big T says, good morning. I'm in the kitchen cooking up something real good. This defense about to be nasty. I love it. This defense has a chance to be infinitely better today than it was 12 hours ago. That's how big of a deal I think it is to add Harrison Phillips, because I think the run defense was a problem. I do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think it was a problem. I think the fact that they got Phillips and added another depth piece in Briggs, who I like, and people I trust tell me he's good. Okay, I'm in. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the names together. We will spin the Wheel of Champions, and we will make sure that someone wins a dealer's choice. You choose the jersey you want to win. Fields, Wilson, Gardner, Johnson. Putting the names together, what I need right now is to do two things. One, I need to play this for all of you.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I then, as I continue to put the names together here, need to, of course, now play this.
I'm sick of this pattern. Why can't it just die? I thought it was finally broken. I just want this damn pattern to die.
You get the fuck out. And finally, if you missed yesterday's show, one last video before the raffle, fireworks between Richie of Jets Media and J-Quest.
Now, Richie, we have to address something that has come to light on this show. I had a listener of mine, and he claims that when a young kid came up to you at a training camp practice, you gave this young fan a sticker.
but you weren't enthusiastic enough to the young fan that came up to you. And Jay Quest was very, very upset. He was disgusted with your actions. And I want to make it clear, I don't believe this to be true. But now they're calling you the Sticker King in the chat, and this continues to take on a life of its own.
Gator, I'm scared to see what this is.
I'm Rishi Stickers. Kiddies love my stickers. Jets Media subscribers all want my stickers. Here's my kick-ass sticker. Now leave me the hell alone, bitches.
I'm becoming the sticker guy. Oh my God. We got a banger sent over from Gator. I am strapped up with stickers. If anybody comes up to me, you get a sticker. I didn't know it was becoming a thing, though.
I'm Rishi Stickers.
Does anybody watching this have a sticker that I gave them in person?
Just unbelievable what's happening here. So, Richie, I want you to respond to those who are questioning you.
I mean, I don't know where this accusation's coming from. I did not know that this is turning into first I'm seeing that edit from Gator.
Jake is a fucking pot stirrer, bro. Dude, I did not shit on you. It was in the middle of practice, right? So you were at the top with Ryan and some creepy old guy. Who was that dude that was stalking you guys? Some kid came up to you. I wasn't saying you were mean, but it was I thought the kid was so hyped to see you. His smile on his face was so excited. But he said, here's a sticker. And I felt like the kid was I don't know. I felt like he wanted to dab you off or wanted a picture. It's not a big deal. I saw it, but it wasn't like you were a douchebag. You just gave him a sticker. And I felt like he was a little let down. That's all.
I think I remember exactly what you're talking about. One kid came up to me to show me his phone. He's like, this is you. Are you on TikTok? I gave him a sticker. His friend came up. He wants another sticker. So I'm like, yeah, of course, man. Have a sticker.
I'll tell you this. This is my analogy. Meeting the Jet content creators like meeting a fluffer at a porn set, right? You're there to see the Jets. That kid was acting like he saw a porn star when he saw you. He was so excited, dude. He fucking loved it. The chat took over. You know how these fucking chats are. They go crazy.
Jake Quest, nothing but love and respect to you, my friend. Appreciate you coming on Jake's show and speaking how you feel. Because I got no bad blood against you, my friend, at all.
Jake, stop being a douche there, Jake.
Rishi Stickers.
Jay Quest, your hamstrings must hurt from that back pedal. Wow. Subscribe to Richie. You might get a sticker if you see him in public. And if you join us on the cruise, by the way, Richie has said that everyone who goes will get a Jets Media sticker. How about that? All right, it's raffle time. Again, thank you to everyone who entered today. Wild show. Was not expecting a significant trade in the middle of it, so I was trying to adjust the thumbnail on the fly and the title. So for those of you who tuned in late, the Phillips deal happened mid-show, so I'll timestamp that in the comments afterwards. That said, you see the wheels on the screen. Now we need some dramatic music for some effect. All right, if you win, you have to email me your name, the jersey of the player you want of the 4 options, the size, and the color, either green or white. Good luck to everyone. Genergy and Big Fella each have the most entries in this raffle with 10 a pop. And by the way, Nate, I feel bad I missed your super chat earlier. He wrote in, all we need is a 2009 Braylon Edwards-like trade. And Nate, you're right. Mike Tannenbaum, my co-host on Sundays from 8 to noon on ESPN New York, he made that deal. Will Muji get his Braylon Edwards type of trade? All right. I've talked enough. It's time for the Wheel of Champions to decide how this is going to go down. Good luck again to everyone. And let's declare a winner. That winner is Ralphie Rocks. He did it again. Mr. signed Darrelle Revis jersey yesterday. Today, Ralphie, maybe your daughter could actually wear one of these. They're not signed. Jermaine, Sauce, Garrett, or Fields. Ralphie, the winner for the second straight day. How about that? Hit the Jet chant for a diehard Jet fan winning twice back-to-back days. He goes, I know it now. Love it. Congratulations, Ralphie. That is awesome. Wow. It is hard to win, man. It really is. Ralphie's on a heater. Congrats. Again, thank you to everyone. I'm repping the Jets out here. I wore this down to the pool earlier. On that note, love all of you. Thanks for watching. 8 a.m. my time. So 11 a.m. your time tomorrow. Matt O'Leary. If I'm deathly hungover, I apologize in advance. But the show must go on. Again, 2 shows tomorrow confirmed as far as the guests with O'Leary and Parles. More content throughout the day. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks to everyone who called in. Thanks again to Dylan T, who joined for the first hour and a half of the show. I guess thanks to Frankie V for popping on, although the chat would say otherwise. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your night. Darren Muji's making moves, and Charles Gorman, he's taking naps. Go Jets, everyone.
People think I don't want to work, which is not true. I just had a bit of a nap not too long ago, too, so that didn't help.
I love it, dude.
You're talking about how people don't.
You can't say that people think you don't want a job and then say that you came off a real good nap. It's a hard 2 sentences to put together, Charles. It is. You got Jake off the camera.
How do you not see the irony of that, Charles? This is why Charles is the best of the best.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't? You can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.